This is a big game, no doubt about it. The atmosphere really building now. You're listening to the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. So, as the players just make their way out of the tunnel to our left at a very chilly Cardiff City Stadium. Here we go then. Can Cardiff continue their unlikely push towards the playoffs, or will Leeds United banish their away day blues and put pressure on the likes of Southampton and Ipswich Town above them? Let's find out in the company of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. And first up, your match commentator, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Adrian. Good afternoon once again. There's no doubt this is a really big game here today on the home of the EFL Talksport 2. Both teams have so much to play for. Cardiff City, it's an unlikely playoff charge in many ways, considering the lack of budget that Errol Bullitt has had to work with for much of the season. But a win today and they could be level on points with those inside the top six. And Leeds United, it's always a big game when they are away from home in the Championship, but they'll be aware that their away form needs to improve. 3 successive defeats on the road, and there was a risk that the top 3 could be disappearing over the horizon if they're not careful. So Perry Groves, we always look for turning points in a Championship season. There can sometimes be several turning points in a Championship season for a club, and I think both need one here today.
Yeah, very much so. We said, Nigel, about obviously Leeds United's away form isn't particularly good. Obviously they're very consistent compared to their form at Ellen Road. And from Cardiff City's point of view, they've got to get goals from somewhere. Atete's their top goal scorer with 5 goals in all competitions. So we saw in the game against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup where they had 22 shots, only had 9 on target and didn't score, missed 2 penalties. So they've got to be a little bit more ruthless in the opposition's 18-yard box.
And it's a Baltic day here in South Wales. Temperatures hovering above freezing point, grey skies overhead. But it's a red-hot atmosphere inside the Cardiff City Stadium. Not quite full. The top tier of the stand on the far side has not been open for this game, but as always, the Leeds United away end, away to our right-hand side, is sold out and raucous. And here are the two teams once again. Cardiff City, Anik in goal, and G, McGuinness, Gutas and Collins the back 4. Siopis, Rawls and Wintle in midfield. Bowler, Atete and Grant in attack. Leeds United, Meslier in goal, Gray, Ampadu, Roden and Firpo their back 4. Kamara and Gruev holding in midfield, and it's James, Ruta and Somerville behind Bamford in attack. And Perry, when you look at that Leeds team, at the start of the season it was all about Joel Peru being the focal point. He would have looked forward to coming back to South Wales as a former Swansea City player, but he's on the bench at the moment, and that just shows the developing strength in depth they have.
Yeah, very much so. You said Joel Peru. I think Jaden Ante on the bench as well. Wilfred Nonto. They've got a lot of options. The young lad Gelhardt can come play up front, and you're just looking at the 3 behind Patrick Bamford with Dan James, Rutter and Somerville. They're all in really good goal scoring form as well, and especially looking at Jorginho Rutter, he will be playing in that 10 position and obviously want to be the playmaker for Leeds.
Well, January is always a time of transition with the transfer window open. Both these clubs are looking to do business, but it's all about what happens out on the pitch here today for the next 90 minutes. Both sides really in need of a victory on the road to the Premier League, and it's Cardiff City who get the match underway on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2, wearing all blue, attacking the goal away to our right in the first half. Leeds, of course, in their famous all white. And it's back with Mark McGuinness, midway inside the Cardiff City half on the far side. Our commentary position is midway inside the half, which Leeds are currently defending. And it was a dramatic game on the opening day at Ellen Road. I remember being there for Talksport 2. Cardiff were the rank outsiders, but they leapt into a 2-goal lead by half-time, and it took a goal from Crescencio Somerville very late in the day to rescue a point for Leeds in a 2-2 draw. And we hope for similar drama here today as Bowler, with the head tied back by the Alice band, gathers for Cardiff on this near side, but he rather meanders into a cul-de-sac, but comes away with a throw-in for the home team on this near side. And Both managers on the edge of the technical areas in the opening moments, wrapped up against the cold. Two very different characters, Errol Bullitt and Daniel Farke, and it's fair to say that very few Cardiff City fans will have heard of Errol Bullitt before he arrived at the club, but now all of them would like to get to know him longer than this season.
Well, we want to get his team firing it here at the Cardiff City Stadium a bit more than I thought they have been, Nige, to be fair. But you said there, for someone who's probably relatively unknown, he's just given that little bit of stability. To them to read 3 points off the playoff positions, spending no money in the summer, he's done a fantastic job. But now he'll just be hoping that his Cardiff City side could kick on.
Nearly 2 minutes played here, and it's Cardiff 0, Leeds 0, as Gray plays it forward now for James. A low ball in towards the near post from Dan James, and it's fumbled at the near post by Anik, and it's gone behind for the game's first corner. And it's interesting, the boos you can hear is when Joe Rodon and Daniel James are on the ball as former Swansea City players, but of course in this stadium the same fans are often cheering them when they're wearing the red shirt of Wales.
Yeah, there's always divided loyalties, Nigel, you know that. You can
not when Wales are here.
Exactly, you can take your colours off, and then obviously they become the pantomime villains. Good link-up play from Leeds down there right hand side with Archie Gray and Dan James for a corner for them on their right.
Somerville with the corner into the near post, and it was swept on by Ampadu, who scored his first goals in English football last week at Peterborough in the FA Cup, but the shot is too high over the angle and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, it's nearly a good bad one there from Crescenzo. Somerville has just whipped the cross in, outswing with his right foot. Ethan Ampey just loses his marker, gets the edge of the 6-yard box. He can't just sweep it across his body. In the end, it just goes past Anwick's near post. Goal kick for Cardiff.
Well, we've already brought you a thrilling game already today on Talksport 2, with Coventry coming from behind. 3 goals in the final 10 minutes to beat the leaders Leicester by 3-1. That means Coventry have leapt into the top 6, so Cardiff are currently down to 10th in the table, still 3 points outside the playoff zone, and there is almost a symmetry about their overall league performance so far this season. 11 wins, 4 draws and 11 losses. They've scored 34 goals and they've conceded 33, but they have picked up only 4 points in their previous 6 home games, which has rather offset winning their last 2 games away from home.
Yeah, just both teams a little bit sort of bitty at the moment. Neither team dominating possession and getting themselves into a rhythm. Just Leeds just coming out on their right-hand side from Joe Rodon, just playing it into Archie Gray.
And so much coming down that right-hand side at the moment. Rutter tries to play the cross into the penalty area down the right, but in the end the ball has gone behind, and it will be a goal kick on a bitterly cold day here in South Wales. Almost a grey blue sky overhead, but the temperature has barely got above freezing point all day, and everybody in the stands is wrapped up against the elements. And it really is the chill of midwinter here, but this is when you need to really kick on in the Championship.
What's your feelings on footballers wearing gloves, Nige?
I have to say, as somebody who coached to the extreme high level of under-14s, I always wear gloves when I was coaching, and I don't have a problem with it really.
What about commentators?
Commentators wearing gloves, I'm all for it, yeah. But I have to take them off to keep toggling the computer screen around to get the latest scores.
I think you need fingerless, Nige, fingerless gloves.
I wonder where you were going now. It's back again towards McGuinness. Yeah, I do need fingerless gloves, yeah, but, it was a bad call from me today. But this is the coldest day I've had this season so far, certainly working on an outside broadcast. 5 minutes played, Cardiff 0, Leeds 0 on Talksport 2.
It was unlucky there from Guttas, because you get the Cardiff City centre-halves, Guttas and McGuinness. They'll split, the width of the 18-yard box. Just try to ping it out to Collins, left-back position, just overhit it.
And Keon Atete leading the Swansea, that's a Freudian slip, the Cardiff City attack. Only 2 goals for him so far this season, and his last goal in the league came back at the end of September. Signed from Tottenham for £500,000, did very well on loan in the lower divisions, which I think put him on the radar for a move, but he's found it hard going in a Cardiff City side which often creates very little. Now Bamford, with the peroxide rinse these days, holds off the challenge on the far side, plays the ball in field to Rutter, and now Somerville. Kamara pings it wide to Firpo, who just has to check to bring the ball under control. And now Kamara on the halfway line, finding Gruev, who is back in the side today for Leeds as a starter due to a lack of cover in the back four, which is why Ethan Ampadu, who is wearing the captain's armband, has gone back to be a central defender. Interestingly, Charlie Cresswell is fit, but his prevailing attitude, according to Daniel Farke, means he's not in his plans at the moment. He believed he should have been first choice when he wasn't, and now he's not first choice when he could have been.
Well, we've seen Luke Aylin's gone as well, hasn't he, to Middlesbrough, because he wasn't getting himself in the starting 11. Jed Spence has obviously gone to Genoa. So, yeah, Daniel Farke isn't afraid of making massive decisions.
First goal has gone in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the EFL in League 2. Danny Rose with a penalty for Grimsby. They lead Notts County by 1-0. Ampadu with a long ball over the top, but it's beyond the pace of Dan James, and it's gathered by Jack Anik. And both teams have found clean sheets and issues so far this season. Anik with only 6 in his 20 appearances so far. Meslier has had 9 in his 24 games before that red card against Preston on Boxing Day. And now Kamara once again. 7 minutes played on Talksport 2 at the Cardiff City Stadium, where it's Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 0. Leeds beginning the weekend 4th, 7 points behind Ipswich. Of course, unbeaten at home, 9 wins and 4 draws, but 5 wins, 2 losses and 6 defeats away from home. And they've lost their previous 3 games on the road in the Championship without scoring from open play. But now Rutter just managed to spin away from a challenge and finds Firpo on this near side. Back to Gruev again, a good ball forward from him. And now Bamford clips it into the penalty area towards Rutter on the left-hand side of the box, but Perry NG gets there first, clears away, and it will be a throw into Leeds, 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side there left.
Yeah, just looking at Leeds United, Nigel, even though obviously they're playing at a back four, when they're in possession, the 2 full-backs, Archie Gray and Junior Firpo, basically they play as wing-backs. They push high and wide just to obviously try and stretch the play as much as they can. Daniel James a couple of times from that right-hand side has made sort of run diagonally inwards, but the ball the first time from Ethan Ampadu was just a little bit too straight.
And here is Ampadu again, a player who is really benefiting from a settled environment. He's bounced around so many clubs on loan from Chelsea in recent years. He was involved in 3 successive relegation battles before he chose to move to Leeds on a permanent basis. And of course he is equally adept in central midfield or in the back four, where he is today as the left-sided central defender. Somerville now inside the penalty area, but he was quickly closed down. Lofts the cross, overhit right through the 6-yard box and out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Cardiff City with 9 minutes played on Talksport 2, and it's still goalless here at the Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah, decent build-up play from Leeds. Joe Rodon just picking the ball up in the centre circle, just releasing it over to Junior Firpo on the left-hand side. And Crescencio Somerville just going on the underlap there, going inside Junior Firpo, get himself to the byline. Maybe should be cutting it back towards the penalty spot, just trying to chip it up to the far post, overclubbed.
No goals elsewhere in the Championship so far, following Coventry's 3-1 victory against the leaders Leicester. Live on Talksport 2 earlier on, and coming up following this game at 5:30, Joe Shannon and Scott Minto will bring you second place Ipswich at home to Sunderland, part of a massive triple header on the home of the EFL here today. As Ampadu has the ball once again for Leeds and goes all the way back towards Meslier, who has been pretty much a spectator so far.
Yeah, just looking at Cardiff, why they've set up when Leeds are in possession, they sort of go into a 4-4-2 with Etete up front, and Ryan Winter's the one who goes and joins him.
Now Bamford clean through on the edge of the penalty area, just driven wide, but a left foot shot from him was a decent effort in the end. Did Anik get a touch? I don't think he did. A goal kick's been given in the end, but time seemed to stand still there as Bamford waited for the long ball forward to bounce on the edge of the penalty area. He was clearly onside. McGuinness was playing him on, but he dragged the shot wide.
Yeah, just a high line from Cardiff, 2 centre-halves, Guttas and McGuinness. No pressure on the ball, just dinked in by Ethan Ampadu for Patrick Bamford, who's not known for his electric pace, let's be honest, Nige. So he shouldn't be getting in behind you. He had a little look over to the lines when he thought he might have been offside, got into the 18-yard box, really should be hitting the target. He's done the right thing to smash it across Anwick and tried to bury it in the far post. But he should be hitting the target. But just a warning sign there from Cardiff City, because someone like Patrick Bamford shouldn't be getting in behind you.
Huddersfield 0, Plymouth 1 in the Championship. Morgan Whittaker with an opening goal. Two sides who are just hovering above the bottom three at the moment. And in League 2, MK Dons lead at Tranmere by a goal to 0 thanks to Alex Gilby, as Roden brings it forward now for Leeds again. Back in field to Meslier. And Mellier's got time to assess his options, because Cardiff drops so deep in this sort of area. Wintle and Atete very happy to allow Leeds to have the ball almost up towards the halfway line. 12 minutes played. 0-0 at the Cardiff City Stadium. Now Firpo with a buccaneering run forward down the left. Rutter with a ball fighting Somerville, left-hand side of the penalty area. He wriggles away from a challenge, pulls it back. Bamford with a shot, it's blocked, but Bamford on the ground turns the rebound into the back of the net, and Leeds have the lead. And yet again, it is Patrick Bamford. 3 goals in 3 games for Leeds' Renaissance man, and it's Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 1.
Well, Nige, Crescencio Somerville isn't a small-town boy, because he's the one who's provided the assist. Good play on that left-hand side. Junior Firpo just rolled it into Crescencio Somerville. He just wriggled, went past 3 Cardiff City defenders, got himself to byline and just pulled it back across the 6-yard box. At the near post, I think it was McGuinness who got his feet all tangled up. And Patrick Bamford had the first go at it, then it ricocheted back to him. He's lying on the floor, just swept it in the back net with his left foot to put Leeds United 1-0 up here at the Cardiff City Stadium against Cardiff City. And it's Patrick Bamford's 3rd goal in 3 games.
Well, he was on the ground. Bamford did really well to readjust his feet as it bounced out to him, and from a prone position he was just able to scoop the ball into the back of the net. Not quite as spectacular as the goal he scored at London Road last week in the FA Cup, but just as important for Leeds United. After 3 successive away defeats, they lead here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Tom Fellows has also given West Brom the lead against Blackburn in the Championship, 1-0 to the Baggies at the Hawthorns, and Elliot Nevitt has put Crewe a goal up against Swindon in League 2. But here it is Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 1 on Talksport 2, and you can hear the Leeds fans in great voice on the far side. And if they can get Bamford showing the sort of form he displayed the last time they got promotion from this level, Leeds have a really good chance of closing in on the top 2.
Well, Nige, it's 2 different sorts of goals. Where I was at Peterborough last week, where he's got the worldie, wasn't he, with his chest and volley. This time it was from 2 yards. And looking at it, Nige, I think Junior Firpo might even get the assist, because as it's ricocheted, he's carried his run on into the 6-yard box, getting himself inside Somerville. And as Cardiff defence tried to clear it, it came off of Junior Firpo, went to Patrick Bamford, who's lying on the floor, and he swept it home. So, you know, when you get your stats and you should say to someone, by the way, Junior, look, mate, that's not really an assist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Partial assist. Here is Bamford again now, bursting into the penalty area, but Anik does well. Brave goalkeeping to dive at his feet. And at the moment, Cardiff City are absolutely wide open.
Yeah, this Jorginho Rutter getting himself on the ball, just trying to roll it into Patrick Bamford. Maybe just a little bit too firm on his pass. To be fair to Jack Anwick in the Cardiff City goal, it was a really good starting position from him. Just come out, slid and smothered the danger.
As Cardiff try and build now, as Grant is beaten to it by Kamara. And here is Somerville again. And now Kamara again, lofting it wide to the far side, the right. Plenty of time and space for Archie Gray, who is now operating as a right-back, having started the season at the heart of the Leeds midfield alongside Ethan Ampadu, and neither player involved in that position today. Here is Kamara, who was getting a good look at the Cardiff City Stadium before he returns here in March with Finland to play Wales in that crucial European Championship playoff semi-final. Tranmere 1, MK Dons 1. Kieran Morris with the equaliser in League 2 at Prenton Park, and Abu Isa has put Grimsby 2 up against Notts County at Blundell Park in League 2. Now Firpo on this near side again. Leeds the dominant side in the opening 15 minutes, leading by a goal to nil. Gruev again, finding Kamara, who steps in field, down the line smartly for Somerville, and wide towards Firpo. And at the moment, Cardiff City can barely get a kick in this game, and that is the issue for them. They're often a side who have lived off very little possession in recent years, but at the moment, they're not even having the platform for a counter-attack.
What's happening, Nigel, is I can understand, right, if you're going to just want the ball to be played in front of you, so Cardiff City are relinquished in space and possession, but when it comes into their own half, their players aren't close enough to the Leeds United players. Jorginho Rutter's getting himself on the ball too easy.
Oh, it's been given away by Gruev now, and a rare opportunity for Atete. And he's done well to hold the ball up and find Rawls. Rawls wide to the far side. Grant almost collides with Collins. Two Cardiff City players getting in each other's way. But now Rawls trying to drive forward and find Collins again. He steps over the ball, but James will keep the ball in play on the far side in front of the no man's land between the Cardiff and Leeds fans in that stand. And Cardiff win the ball back. Sam Hoskins with a penalty for Northampton. They lead Wigan by a goal to nil in League One. Here, Leeds lead by a goal to nil thanks to Patrick Bamford, with 17 minutes played on Talksport 2, the home of the EFL, with Ipswich against Sunderland coming up following this game at 5:30. All of the big teams in the Championship, all of the big games featured on Talksport 2 today. Now Wintle again, fighting Bowler. Bowler looking to take on Firpo. A shuffle from him, he's gone beyond him. The low cross into the penalty area, and there was confusion there between Meslier and Rodon. Meslier was about to gather the ball, and Rodon took the ball basically out of his gloves. And Cardiff come forward again now with Collins on the far side, and now Grant is challenged by James, and Cardiff have a throw in, and really Meslier should have gathered the ball ages ago.
Well, I'm just looking at Ethan Ampere. He's actually said to his goalkeeper Liam Meslier, you've got to be shouting, you've got to be dominating that situation, because Joe Rodon actually did the right thing, because he didn't hesitate. He made sure he just cleared it. From Cardiff's point of view, it was their best attacking little bit of play with Josh Bowler on this right-hand side, skipped inside Junior Firpo, rolled the ball across 6-yard box, but there was nobody in the 6-yard box for Cardiff City night. So that sort of highlights where their problems have been this season, because Atete's got to make sure he makes that run across the near post.
Joe Rodon, one of 3 Welsh internationals in the Leeds starting 11 today. Cardiff City don't have any, but they're coming forward now with Josh Bowler on this near side. Ruben Colwill is on the bench. Bowler plays a good 1-2 with Wintle. Low ball into the penalty area. Ampadu on the stretch will cut it out and then clear. Bamford looking to keep the ball in play on this near side, and the ball just evades his grasp, but it will be a throw into Cardiff. And a couple of dashes forward from Josh Bowler on this near side have given Cardiff at least a crumb of comfort after what's been a torrid start for them.
Yeah, nice little give and go there between Josh Bowler and Ryan Wintle. He said on this right hand side, when Josh Bowler got himself in the 18-yard box, he's got to make sure that he gets his head up, maybe dinks it at the far post. To be fair to Ethan Ampadu, his positional play there, Nigel, was exemplary, because sometimes as centre half you've got to make sure you mark the space. Exactly what he did, cut the danger out of the near post.
19 minutes played on Talksport 2. Leeds coming forward again now. Kamara on the edge of the penalty area, left for Rutter. Somerville clean through, but a great save by Anik, who came out to smother the opportunity and then manages to scramble the ball behind for a corner. But that should have been 2-0 to Leeds.
Crescencio Somerville there has got his Tonka boots on, because it's really good play from Leeds from Rutter. He just rolls Crescencio Somerville on his left-hand side, and it's a really heavy touch out of his feet. If it's a better touch, then he just makes sure that he dinks it over Jack Anwick in the Cardiff City goal. Heavy touch. Anwick did brilliantly just to smother the danger. Corner for Leeds on the left-hand side.
Well, Tonka boots, the same as Toblerone boots.
Tonka toy boots. Can't remember Tonka toys from the 70s?
I do, yeah. Somerville with the corner, high into the penalty area. Rodon was riding, but it's cleared away. And now Kamara will gather the ball for Leeds on the halfway line, back towards Gray, and Leeds still have plenty of height forward, but Gray goes all the way back towards Meslier, back in the Leeds side today after serving his suspension for the straight red card against Preston on Boxing Day. One of Leeds' 3 recent defeats away from home in the Championship, but Cardiff with 4 points in 6 home games, but they have won their last 2 away games against sides in the relegation zone, Sheffield Wednesday and Queen's Park Rangers, although they lost at Sheffield Wednesday 4-0 in the FA Cup last week. Now Gray with a dash forward down the Leeds right-hand side. He's gone beyond Carlin Grant, deep towards the edge of the penalty area, delivers the cross in, but I think he carried the ball behind. He had, and it will be a goal kick to Cardiff. 21 minutes played, it's still Cardiff 0, Leeds 1.
Yeah, again, a feature of Leeds United's play, Nigel, is the full-backs. They like to push them high and wide there. It's on the right-hand side, Archie Gray linking up with Dan James. Just, again, a heavy touch from Archie Gray. To be fair to Carlin Grant, playing on the left-hand side for Cardiff City as a forward, you don't want to be chasing back 56 yards, but exactly what he did just to negate the danger.
And you're listening to Cardiff against Leeds in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Now Bowler again for Cardiff, of course, an old-fashioned winger who will look to jink and chase, but on this occasion the challenge comes in from Firpo, and it will be a throw-in in the end to Leeds, right on the halfway line. Don't forget Talksport Breakfast back from 6 a.m. on Monday, looking back at all the weekend's action with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. Or if you prefer, Chris Evans is on Virgin every morning at 6:30, and you can download the Talksport app, the one-stop shop for all our stations, so you can happily swipe between them to suit your requirements. Download it from your favourite app store now. In the Championship, Plymouth still lead at Huddersfield by 1-0, and Leeds are still a goal up on Cardiff here, and West Brom 1-0 up on Blackburn at the Hawthorns.
I don't think Plymouth have won away in the Championship yet, Nigel, season, have they? So
they really have lived off their form at home park, haven't they? Now Rawls, a good ball forward for Cardiff to find Atete. Once again he shrugs off the challenge of Roden with his back to goal, and it's wide to Bowler. Bowler now will try and take on Firpo. High cross into the penalty area, looking for Atete. Excellent defensive header by Rodon, because Atete was looking to pounce at the far post, and eventually it's smuggled behind by Gray for a Cardiff corner.
Yes, a danger down Cardiff's right-hand side again. Junior Firpo not getting close enough to Josh Bowler, just checking back on his left foot. You said he's trying to bend it to the far post for Kieran Atete. To be fair to Joe Rodon, again, he got his distances completely spot on, because if he doesn't just get that little nick with his head, then Atete has a free header at the far post, goes out for corner for Cardiff City over on their left-hand side.
Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0, thanks to Joe Bryan in the Championship. Cardiff corner, swung in by Rawls, it was flicked on and back out to Carlin Grant, who lets fly left-footed, and it sails high into those Leeds fans behind that goal.
Yeah, I think Carlin Grant's got to chalk his boot there, Nigel, as it bounced out to him. It set up nicely for the volley, didn't really have the courage of his convictions, just sliced it completely. Millier just watched it sail aimlessly over his crossbar. Pace of the game's been good, Nigel, isn't it? It's been good, I think. From Cardiff's point of view, their managerial bullet has actually said to his Cardiff players that he wants them further up the pitch. You know, the first 10-15 minutes dropping a little bit too deep. So he's made sure that when it's Wintle that goes up alongside Atete, they've probably gone a bit 10 yards further up to make sure that they can stop Joe Rodon and Ampadu from playing out from the back, and then one of them goes and marks Ilya Gruyev to stop him getting turned and getting the ball into Bamford.
Ian Dant will have the Sunday session tomorrow on Talksport from 1:30. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League, the EFL and the Women's FA Cup. Everton against Aston Villa and Manchester United against Watford among the games, as Bamford goes through again, and this time it's another excellent save by Anik, who is keeping Cardiff City afloat on his own here. That's
the second time Patrick Bamford's got in behind Gutas and McGuinness. Really good play from Dan James from Leeds coming off that right flank. He just rolls it into Patrick Bamford. Bamford's got to score. He's 1v1 with Anwick. As Anwick comes out, again he's spread himself nice and big. If Patrick Bamford gets his head up, then he just dinks it over the top of him. That's the second brilliant chance these have had, you know, 1v1s. And just look down at Daniel Farker, who's prowling around. Yeah, exactly. He's prowling around the technical area like a caged lion. He was absolutely apoplectic, because he knows that you can't keep missing these gilt-edged chances, because in the end Cardiff will get a chance for themselves.
Leeds could be 3 up here.
Yeah, without any exaggeration, because they're not half chances, so their XG is the modern terminology. That would be now up to 3.
Now Rotter coming forward again, wide to the left-hand side, and Firpo inside the penalty area. Pulled back to Somerville, but his first touch just allowed NG to nip in with a challenge, but it's headed back towards the edge of the area by Gray. but Cardiff will clear. Siopis with a good ball towards this near side. Bowler is able to gather the ball in stride, but he can't find a Tete, and it's all the way back towards Meslier once again.
Yeah, the one positive for Cardiff City, you have to say, going forward, has been Josh Bowler on this right-hand side. Obviously naturally left-footed, but he's not afraid to go on the outside of Junior Firpo, and he's just trying to get and take advantage of that little bit of space behind Junior Firpo, because, as I mentioned earlier, Leeds push their fullbacks high and wide. And the other thing I like about their rotation as well, Nigel, with the front three, the three behind Patrick Bamford, is that on the right-hand side, Dan James and the left-hand side, Crescentia Sanford, they don't just stay wide, they actually come in, and they end up playing as the old-fashioned inside forwards, like the inside right and inside left, and then they create overloads in the central areas.
26 minutes played here at the Cardiff City Stadium on Talksport 2. Already we brought you Coventry 3, Leicester 1 in the 12:30 kickoff. The games with goals elsewhere in the Championship: Huddersfield 0, Plymouth 1, West Brom 1, Blackburn 0, Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0. So third place Southampton are still being held at home by Sheffield Wednesday, who are looking to close in on Huddersfield, who are currently outside the relegation zone, but that gap could be closing today. And we have Ipswich against Sunderland coming up at 5:30 with Joe Shannon and Scott Minto. Atete will chase a long ball forward now, and Meslier outside his penalty area took a chance there. He was very cool to cushion the ball on his head in the end and clear the ball away. And of course we saw him do something similar at Preston recently, and there were consequences.
Yeah, he was really lucky there, Liam Meslier. He actually got himself caught in no man's land. Atete found himself 1v1 with Ampadu, just gets himself in behind him, and if Atete gets more of a contact on it, he chips it over the top of Meslier, and he goes round him and he sort of sliced it. It actually landed on top of Mellier's head. He's able to clear the danger. Cardiff City press, win the ball back, corner for Cardiff over on their left-hand side. Yeah,
Rawls played the cross in. It was deflected behind for a corner, but it was noticeable. When Rawls played that ball in, there was not a single blue shirt inside the penalty area waiting for the cross. And that's the problem for them.
Exactly, yeah, but they've been very good, haven't they, from set pieces this season. I think they've scored 15 goals from set pieces.
Another Cardiff corner, which Rawls will take on the far side, in towards the near post. It's flicked on by the head of Gutas. It'll be recovered now at the far post by Bowler. Bowler towards the byline, a low cross in from him, takes a deflection off Gray and skims over the turf behind for another Cardiff City corner here. 28 minutes played on Talksport 2. Leeds a goal up thanks to Patrick Bamford, but they should be further clear.
Yeah, we've just seen the Leicester spotted wingers actually going on the outside. I've been really impressed with Josh Bowler, because he's left-footed naturally, but he's going on the outside of Junior Firpo, opens the angle up completely, cross gets blocked.
Wintle's corner, headed up in the air by Bamford inside the 6-yard area. Somerville with a second header away. It's nodded back towards the edge of the box. It's gathered by Bowler, and then Grant hits it from long range, and that was really travelling, but it was always travelling wide.
Yeah, it's the second shot he's had from long range, Carlin Grant. This time was with his right foot, better contact. But again, it didn't trouble Ilya Miza, and the Leeds United goal just went probably about 3 yards wide. So he's had two sighters now, Carlin Grant. You expect the next one to get on target.
2 goals in his previous 3 games for Carlin Grant in the Championship. Wycombe 1, Lincoln 0 in League One. Dale Taylor scoring the opening goal at Adams Park. Patrick Bamford scoring the opener here when he was sat on his backside inside the 6-yard area, but goal scorers will take any type of goal. You don't have to volley in from 30 yards every week. Now Siopis looking to thread the eye of the needle for Cardiff in the midfield. The cross forward is blocked, but now NG will bring it forward down this near side, the right, but Cardiff are very narrow, and G swings in the cross, far too much air on it, and it's a simple claim for Meslier.
Yeah, again, it was the right idea from Perry NG, just in this inside right position, just trying to bend it away from Meslier to the far post, where Carlin Grant's come in from the left wing and Atete makes the centre forward position. But again, it's just that little bit of quality in the final third that lets Cardiff down.
Bamford on the move again here, deep into the Cardiff penalty area down the left, but NG comes back to make the challenge and clear the ball down the line, and Bowler has beaten Firpo to it. Charlie Austin with an equaliser for Swindon in League 2, away to Crewe, 1-1 there as Kamara wins it back now for Leeds. He's found Somerville inside the penalty area. He pokes it towards goal and it's tapped in by Dan James on the goal line, and the Welsh international scores for Leeds at the Cardiff City Stadium. And once again the home team were carved open by Leeds. Somerville again with another assist, and this time Dan James with the simplest goal he will ever score, and it's Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 2.
Yeah, Cardiff just really sloppy in possession. Siopis get himself caught on the ball, then the ball's just played out to Crescencio Somerville and that inside left position. Again, Nigel, first looks you think that he's actually had a touch is too heavy, and then Anwick comes out with the outside of his right foot. He just tries to poke it underneath him. It looks like he's going to go in the empty net. Dan James just comes in from the right hand side, we said there, just taps it home from probably 6 inches. Really good play from Leeds United point of view, but really poor from Cardiff. Just get himself caught on the ball, and it was good play from Glenn Kamara initially, closing Shopsis down, releasing Somerville. Somerville thought he'd scored the goal, but he said Dan James coming from that right hand side, just tapping it home. You have to say, Nigel, Leeds United have gone 2-0 up here at the Cardiff City Stadium against Cardiff City. It could be 5 because they've had 3 other 1v1s.
Dan James with his 9th goal of the season, 7 of those have come at home, but it's his best scoring season now by some distance. Elsewhere in League 1, Charlton 0, Peterborough 1, Efren Mason-Clark at the Valley. West Brom are 2 goals up on Blackburn in the Championship, Brandon Thomas Asante. And Pompey are a goal down at home to Orient in League 1. Shaq Ford, Orient going well away from home. Cardiff now looking for a response. Collins inside the penalty area, tries a shot, it's deflected behind off James, and it will be a Cardiff corner. They've had plenty of corners, but no real punch inside the Leeds penalty area.
Yeah, just got to make sure Joel Rawls will take the corner over from the left-hand side. Actually, he's just given the ball to Jamil Collins, who's going to whip it in with his left foot, out swinging. Leeds United going zonal across the 6-yard box. Patrick Bamford at the near post with Jorginho Rutter.
And the corner high into the penalty area, and Gutas rising to head the ball towards goal, but it was always looping onto the roof of the netting. And so far Cardiff City have not had an effort on target, and they're 2 goals down with 12 minutes to play in the first half, and this could get very, very ugly for them.
Well, the thing is, Nigel, the only positive from Cardiff City's point of view is that it's only 2-0. So because Bamford's missed a 1v1, Somerville's missed a 1v1. For the home team, I think the Cardiff City fans are really disappointed how passive they've been, because you know that Leeds want to play out for the back. To be fair to Leeds, they've actually mixed it up really well. They go into Gruev and Kamara, but there's been 3 or 4 times where Patrick Bamford has made brilliant runs where he's bent his run and he's got in behind McGuinness and Gutas, the 2 Cardiff centre-halves. So from the away perspective, away team manager's point of view, Daniel Farke will be absolutely delighted because everything's gone perfect.
Cardiff unbeaten in their last 6 league meetings before this game, and only 2 of the previous 8 have been won by the home team, and that run looks set to continue here with Leeds 2 goals up away from home, and Cardiff have given the ball away again, and here is Rutter, and at times it has been men against boys here. But now Carlin Grant chasing a long ball forward, but it was a hopeful ball forward from Cardiff, headed away by Roden, and an opportunity now for Gruev to find Meslier again. And at the moment, the only way you can see Cardiff City scoring is from a worldie or a Leeds mistake.
Yeah, very much so. Or maybe like a set piece where delivery hasn't been too good. And an ominous statistic from Cardiff City fans' point of view is they've never won when going 1-0 down at home this season in the Championship.
I'll tell you what's ominous, Blackburn's form sliding down the Championship as well, and they are 3 goals down at West Brom in the first half. A Dominic Hyam own goal, the latest one there for the Baggies at the Hawthorns. And of course Blackburn have got Wrexham in the next round of the FA Cup, which is looking an increasingly interesting game. Now Roden coming forward again. A high ball for Leeds looking for Bamford. It's not a clear by NG, but Bamford may pick up the knockdown. And now Rutter will find Bamford inside the penalty area. He goes down under the challenge, but Oliver Langford, the referee, is not interested in awarding the penalty, and Leeds are not too happy with that.
I think Mark McGuinness has been very, very lucky there. Nigel, to be fair, on first looks, it looked like he hooked Patrick Bamford's standing leg away from him. And at the moment, defensively, Cardiff City like herding ferrets. They are all over the place. There's no shape there whatsoever. That's Bamford again getting in behind the two centre-halves, Guttas and McGuinness. And as I said before, Patrick Bamford, Nigel, isn't known, is he, for like getting in behind back fours. He's known for coming and like standing and getting the ball into feet and linking the play up. So if there's no pressure on the ball, then the two centre-halves, you have to drop off. You can't leave that massive space for Leeds to be able to exploit.
Orient now 2 goals up at Portsmouth in League One. Jordan Brown with the second at Fratton Park, and Che Adams has put Southampton a goal up against Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. In League Two, Andy Cook for Bradford at Colchester as Firpo heads it down into the penalty area. Bamford is offside. He puts it wide anyway. He really should have found the back of the net, but it wouldn't have counted.
Just looking at Leeds United at the moment, Nigel, they're playing this like a practice match, isn't it? It's just like they've got so much space.
There's no pressure on the ball.
None at all. Just there was just a ball in from the left-hand side from Archie Gray, and then as the ball's headed back by Crescencio Somerville, Patrick Bamford, even though he's offside, there isn't a Cardiff City defender within 10 yards of him in the 18-yard box.
Also in League Two, the bottom club Sutton are a goal down at home to Barrow. Ben Whitfield scoring the opening goal there. But Southampton are winning and Leeds are winning in pursuit of the top two. The leaders Leicester have already lost on Talksport 2-3-1 at Coventry. Second placed Ipswich at home to Sunderland. And we have that live as well at 5:30. 37 minutes played here. Cardiff 0, Leeds 2. As Harry Darling gives Swansea the lead at Birmingham City. And we'll be at the Swansea.com stadium next week. Should be a good game. Swansea against Southampton, 12:30. Looking forward to that one. I think on this occasion, both teams will have 80% possession.
Yeah, exactly. If we can pass each other today. If you look at Southampton at home, or actually this season so far, they're unbeaten in the last 18 in the Championship. Won the last 7 on the trot at home.
And winning today. Josh Koroma with a crucial equaliser for Huddersfield at home to Plymouth. 1-1 at the John Smith Stadium.
Now, the biggest indictment I can level against the Cardiff City players is that Leeds United are actually enjoying this game. They're enjoying getting themselves on the ball. Everything is very comfortable. Yeah, far too easy. They're under no pressure whatsoever. Kamara and Gruev, who are the two holding midfield players, they're just coming in and get it off of Roden and Ampadu. And there hasn't been a bad foul yet from Cardiff City's point of view. Not one Cardiff player, apart from Josh Bowler on this right-hand side, who's looked quite lively at times when he's had possession. Not one Cardiff City player has got close to Leeds United player and actually sort of put him under pressure and let them know that they're in the game. It's been far too easy for Leeds United.
In League One, Carlisle 0, Oxford 1. Mark Harris, the former Cardiff striker, has scored the opening goal there. And Blackpool lead Exeter by a goal to 0 in League One. Albie Morgan at Bloomfield Road. Leeds 2 goals up here on Talksport 2. 6 minutes to play in the first half. Somerville coming forward again. And Cardiff have not been able to handle him. He's had a major role in both of the games, and they've given the ball away again. And here is Somerville again down the left-hand side. This time Wintle is able to come back and make the challenge, and Leeds will have a throw-in.
But that all started because the ball was played into Patrick Bamford. Joe Rules, the Cardiff captain, is one who's marking him, but he let Patrick Bamford chest the ball down, take another touch on his thigh, then he just lays it back to Glenn Kamara, and then Leeds can build again. You have to make sure that you do the horrible, nasty stuff. Even, and it sounds a little bit basic, but even with Joe Rolls there, if he gives Patrick Bamford a nudge and push him off balance, or
I was going to say, you don't want to encourage thuggery, but you want to see something, don't you?
You want to encourage physicality.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
no physicality from Cardiff City at all.
David McGoldrick with a goal back for Notts County. 2-1 down at Grimsby now in League Two as Bamford comes forward again for Leeds down their right-hand side. And the first goal of the Tony Mowbray era for Birmingham. Siriki Dembele is equalised at home to Swansea City.
Probably had a little bit of Frank Sinatra playing in the dressing room beforehand. He loves a bit of Frank.
Pack of Revels.
Oh, you love the jeopardy of the Revels, chocolate, the coffee, or the orange.
Well, you know, it's what more do you need?
Life doesn't get any better, Nigel.
Here is Ampadu again, and you look at the bench. attacking options, Ruben Colwill, Yaku Mete possibly, Romain Sawyers could be someone who could come on, but he's been used very sparingly in the Championship by Errol Bullitt so far this season.
I know they've had their problems in the forward areas, obviously, of lack of goals, but at the moment, Cardiff aren't competitive. It's in the midfield area where
it's passive.
They're so far short. You would think that Leeds United were the home team.
Now Rutter, space inside the penalty area to turn and lash in the shot left-footed, and it's parried away by Jack Anick, and you can hear the boos from the home supporters because Rutter there had time to bring the ball down, turn inside the penalty area, no challenge whatsoever, and but for Jack Anick, Leeds would have 6 in this first half.
There's no pressure on the ball. Dan James just comes in off the right wing. He turns. You can count to probably 2 or 3 by the time a Cardiff City player gets to him. Then he just flicks inside to Rutter. Rutter's on the edge of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side. There's no Cardiff player within 3 yards of him.
Somerville swings in the corner, looking for Rodin. Headed away, though, by McGuinness. James now on the edge of the penalty area. Wide towards Somerville, the corner taker. He swings in the cross. It's volley clear at the near post by Unji. And now James again, who scored the second goal to add to the first from Bamford for Leeds here, who are utterly in control of this game. As it's sliced across the face of his own penalty area by Bowler, and it's gathered now by Rutter. Left-hand side of the box, he will break into the penalty area beyond a couple of wafer-thin challenges. In the end, Gutas lunges in to try and get the ball clear, but Cardiff there had 2 or 3 attempts to clear the ball away. Eventually it ricochets away off Rutter, but it wasn't convincing from the home side, and it will be a throw-in to Cardiff City, and you would get more defensive mobility from traffic cones in there.
I think you're being very harsh on the traffic cones, Nige, to be fair, because they have been so static, Cardiff. At least sometimes traffic cones get moved around, maybe by the wind. This is happening here for Cardiff City today. They've got more problems. I think Joe Rose, the Cardiff captain, has just gone down. I think he's either got a knee or an ankle problem. But you could hear, when Leeds had possession, in and around Cardiff City yard, but you could hear the boos and the moans from the Cardiff City fans because they're getting frustrated that no one's going to engage the ball, no one's going to close down.
And it just plays into the narrative of a lack of forward planning here, and maybe a lack of a long-term plan, because in the week that Errol Bullitt, the manager's been saying, look, my contract expires at the end of the season, I'd like to stay, but we've not spoken really about it. And we're in January, his contract expires in May. I know it's a number of months, but you want to be planning already for what happens during the summer transfer window. You can't do that if you don't know if you're going to be in charge. And I've no doubt that Errol Bullitt has prepared his team here, but once again, there's just a sense of drift.
Yeah, but Errol Bullitt isn't get fired, is he, Nige? Because it'll be his decision whether he goes or whether he stays.
But surely you want him to stay because he's doing a good job.
He is doing a good job, but what I've seen in front of my eyes here today, coming up to the end of this first half, just today at home, you can understand why Cardiff have struggled a little bit. They've only won the last 6 at home in the Championship. That was 1-0 against Millwall, and you can understand why, because they don't impose themselves. So you have to make sure that you're competitive. Because you said before the game, Leeds United have been very inconsistent away from home, but it's been an exemplary away performance from Leeds. They've totally controlled the game, totally dominated. Every player has won their sort of individual battles. You'd probably say, from Cardiff's point of view, I said Josh Bowler on the right-hand side had a good battle against Junior Firpo, and in goal, Jack Anwick has been outstanding for Cardiff because he's saved 3 1v1s. So he's the player that's kept Cardiff actually in this game. This game should be done and dusted.
And they've made the change, Cardiff. Joe Rawls has gone off injured, and Ruben Colwill has come on to replace him, who is an enigmatic figure in many ways. Still only 21 years of age. Of course, he was in the Wales squad, which went to the European Championships 3 years ago now, and we're into 3 minutes of added time here at the end of the first half. But he's never really established himself for club or country. He scored only 1 goal this season, but it was an absolutely wonderful goal at Bristol City, a real worldie, but that's the only one he scored. And now it's been given away again by Cardiff. Here is Dan James on the halfway line. Devante Cole with the opening goal for Barnsley in League One. A goal up at home to Bristol Rovers. And Harry Buterman has equalised for Sutton at home to Barrow at the end of the first half in League Two. If Colwill plays well, Cardiff City always play well because he is a big guy. He's well over 6 foot and he's got real talent, real technical ability.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not the technical ability and the talent at the moment, is it? Nice, to be fair, from Cardiff's point of view. It's actually the competitive side of it, the physicality. And if you was Errol Bullitt, you'd be saying to Ruben Cole, go on now, I want you to impose yourself. I want you to go and, basically, old-fashioned terms, go and rattle a few. See if you can get one tackle, one block tackle, one sliding tackle, even like a robust foul to get this Cardiff City fans like sort of excited, because they've had nothing to cling on to.
Macaulay Langstaff with an equaliser for Notts County. They've come from 2 goals down away to Grimsby in League Two, as Somerville has been hacked down there by NG, and that's really a foul born of frustration. And Oliver Langford shows the first yellow card of the first half, and that's really the first bad challenge we've seen in the first half.
It's 45 minutes too late, and you say it is frustration from Perry NG because he actually taken Vicente Somerville down at the waist. But that's just, I call that pseudo-aggression. That should be from the first, seconds that you're playing. You go and impose yourself on the opponent. And now Leeds have got a great chance just to whip the ball in from this inside left position. Junior Firpo will take it. Cardiff have got a really high line. They're a yard outside their 18-yard box. So there's a nice gap that Junior Firpo can try and whip the ball into.
And Firpo is over the free kick here. Another goal now. And it's surely all over. It may be all over already. Firpo with the free kick, high towards the far post, and Rodon's challenging for it. Gruev almost poked it in for number 3, but it's a crucial last-ditch challenge by Perry NG.
Again, I just thought the Cardiff defensive line was far too high. Just Firpo just floating the ball in with his left foot. Just comes to the far post. It looks like Joe Rodon was the one who just got his touch, just trying to help it back across 6-yard box. You said there at the near post, PNG did really well just to clear his lines. At the moment now, Cardiff want this half-time whistle to go. This is damage limitation.
At the moment, they just need to get in for 15 minutes, and now they will get that opportunity. And those boos really tell the story from the home supporters. Cardiff City have been comprehensively outplayed during this first half. Leeds United 2 goals up. They could be 6 goals up. Such has been their superiority. Patrick Bamford poking in the first, and Dan James tapping in the second. And but for 3 or 4 excellent saves from Jack Annick, Leeds would be out of sight. As it is, they are comfortably in control in this game. Half-time, Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 2.
Well, Perry Groves, I came here to South Wales this afternoon expecting to see a fierce rivalry in front of our very eyes. I thought that Cardiff City and Leeds United would go at it head-to-head, that there'd be fierce challenges, that this would be a ferocious contest. Instead, it's been a procession.
Do you know what, Clarky? I've got a little Maltese Terrier puppy, little white ball of fluff, right? He loves lying on his back and getting his little belly tickled when he's lying on the settee. That is Cardiff City. They're a Maltese little terrier just on their backs, having their bellies tickled, and then Leeds United have been ruthless, and they've trampled all over them, because it was really, even from the first 2-3 minutes, you could tell how passive Cardiff were. But when you're the home team, you can't let the away team get into a rhythm. You can't let them settle. And what they did, they sort of dropped back into a 4-4-2 shape. It was Wintle and Etete. Wintle was going and enjoying up front, but Rodon was getting himself on the ball, Ampey was getting himself on the ball, then it was going into Gruev and Kamara. So Leeds started to get their little pattern to play. That's all very well. Then when it comes into your half, you've got to make sure you're tight. You've got to make sure that you're snapping at players' heels, you're trying to get interceptions, you're making it physical. Didn't happen.
No, it's been an incredibly soft first half performance from Cardiff City in front of their own fans here this afternoon. But let's credit Leeds United. They would have come out and said, let's quieten down the crowd. They certainly did that through good football. This is hugely improved performance compared to the one that I saw recently at West Bromwich Albion. On the front foot, just completely... They're winning the physical battle, Leeds United, but they're also outplaying Cardiff, and in a way this could easily be 4 or 5 by now.
That is the only positive from Errol Bullock, the Cardiff City manager's point of view, that it's only 2-0, because Patrick Bamford's missed a 1v1, Crescencio Somerville's missed 2 1v1s, and you know the alarm bells are ringing when I mentioned about Patrick Bamford, who he's too good for the Championship. He scored when Leeds were in under Bielsa. He got his 17 goals in the Premier League. He proved plenty, but he's normally a player that I call him a lateral player, that he floats and he drifts and the ball comes into him. He holds the ball up very well. He's very technical. He's not known for his searing pace. 5 times in that first half, Clark, he got in behind the 2 centre-halves of Cardiff, Kutas and McGuinness. 5 times, so there's no pressure on the ball, and also the 2 centre-halves aren't dropping off. I love the way that Leeds, when you play 4-2-3-1, sometimes the 3 behind the centre forward, especially in the wide areas, they tend to play in straight lines. Leeds don't, because they push their full-back time wide. Somerville comes into a lot of inside left position. Dan James coming inside right, and they overload you in the central areas. But when they're getting around the 18-yard box, they've been putting on no pressure. No pressure at all.
Would it be too much to say that Cardiff City look scared of Leeds United?
I think they've given too much respect, without any shadow of a doubt, because if it wasn't for Jack Anwick in the Cardiff City goal, where his starting position has been good, he's actually he's been braver. He smothered a couple of chances. Patrick Bamford should have scored where he had a heavy touch, and it was smothered by Anwick. Said Somerville had 2, where again I call them like the Tonka touches, where you got like hobnail boots on, and you're going too far in front of you. So they've had real clear-cut chances, but the 2 goals that Leeds scored again come from no pressure on the ball. With Somerville getting the ball on the left-hand side, Junior Firpo rolling it to him. Firpo then makes an underlap, gets in the 6-yard box. Somerville gets to the byline, and he sort of he crosses it, and then there's a skirmish. Firpo comes off his shins. Patrick Bamford has the first chance at it. Then it comes back to him. He sweeps it home.
He's on the floor.
Someone should be actually kicking his head off. I know it's been pretty brutal. There should be a Cardiff City defender taking everything. And he couldn't believe his luck when it comes to say Firpo gets his assist. It's not an assist really, he's just been lucky, it's come off his knees. But you're talking about in the 6-yard box where no one's under any pressure.
Yeah, the second goal came from a turnover, didn't it? Brilliantly forced, I thought, from Glenn Kamara. He robs Siopsis of the ball, and from that moment on, it just looked a cert goal, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Siopsis looked like he had sepsis, didn't he? Looked like he had blood poisoning, to be fair, because as he's tried to turn, then Kamara's obviously closed him down, then he just releases Somerville. Again, he's 1v1 with Anwick. Somerville's been like, he's just toe poked it underneath him, and then Dan James has come in from the right-hand side, making the second centre forward, and just obviously, side foot it home from 6 inches. So it's been a very, very impressive first half to play from Leeds. And you heard, I don't like it when fans boo their own players, but I think this is an exception here, because you understand why the Cardiff City fans are so frustrated with their players, because they haven't been competitive.
No.
The only outfield player I'd say who's been half decent for Cardiff's point of view has been Josh Bowler on this right wing for Cardiff, where he's had a few little runs, a few crosses into the box. Apart from that, the other 9, apart from the goalkeeper, they've been really poor.
Well, they've had to bring on Ruben Colwill, haven't they? If you were the manager here for Cardiff City, Errol Bullock, would you be making half-time changes? Would you be sending a statement to the players? Because I would, if I was in his shoes.
Well, you got Rinamoto who can come play in midfield as well, because the players aren't doing anything to change it. So I think that's when the manager, you earn your spurs at half-time. That's when you've got to try and influence what's going on. But trust me, it won't be the hairdryer. It'll be double furnace from Errol Bullock in that dressing room now. Honestly, and I'll be amazed, Clark, if they're not sent out early. As if to say, you've been bad boys, you're naughty, get out there and make sure you at least draw this second half. And if you can nick a set piece, then you get that bit of doubt. But say the big positive from Cardiff's point of view is they're not 5-0 down.
Yeah, the double furnace. I love it, Perry. Thanks for now. It's time now to have a quick word with our co-commentator on our final commentary game this afternoon, Ipswich Town versus Sunderland. Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto joins me. Hello, Scott. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. It's pretty one-sided. I've got to say, here in South Wales, it's been quality from Leeds United, but dreadful from the home sides. Well, in the match that you're commentating on in our 5:30 kickoff, it's a really big game for Ipswich Town, isn't it? Winless in their last 5 championship matches. As it stands, I believe they're outside of the top 2 for the first time this season. Pressure's on, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I mean, it depends how you want to look at it. You know, no win in 5. Some tough games in there, you have to say. Obviously got hammered against Leeds, but Norwich, I thought they should have won, and they got a well-deserved draw against Leicester. I think the last 2 league results would have been disappointing, but look, they're still in a position where it's in their hands to go straight up, and who would have thought that at the start of the season? So, you know, we know what the Championship is like. There's so many ups and downs. You have to keep your nerve. We're not even in squeaky bum time yet, and yet I think a few of the Ipswich Town fans are getting that already, but that we know is very, very exciting. And it's a big game for both, because at this moment in time, Ipswich have fallen out the top 2, and of course Sunderland have fallen out the playoff places.
Yeah, that's correct. I was lucky enough to speak to Kieran McKenna recently after the draw at Stoke City on New Year's Day, and look, I put it to him, I said, you know, are you beginning to get a little bit nervous? Southampton and Leeds, you know, breathing down your neck. And he was like, no, we're just here to enjoy it. No one expected this. And that's what we're going to do between now and the end of the season, and see where that takes us. In reality, is that possible?
I was just about to say, he's absolutely right to say it, but do we all really believe him? I mean, I believe that he probably feels like that, because, I mean, he's been superb, hasn't he, from the moment he's taken over as manager of Ipswich Town. First of all, the promotion, and then the season they've had this season. But no, you know that you are going to get very, very nervous indeed, and no one did expect it. And yet, if they finish, say, let's just say 5th or 6th, people are going to be disappointed going into the playoffs, where at the start of the season, I'm sure every Ipswich Town fan would have absolutely taken that. Look, they're here now, they're in that position, they've had a wonderful first half of the season. Now they've got to be trying to get their heads on to try and get automatic promotion, because we know if you fall out that top 2 and then you get into the playoffs, you know, that word momentum, or, you know, sort of psychologically, just you've been up there and you've got to pick yourself up again for the playoffs, and it's not always an easy thing to do. So, look, he's saying the right thing, and I'm sure he'll be saying the right thing to his players. Do his players believe it? We'll find out from now to the end of the season.
We certainly will. Thanks for now, Scott. Really, really looking forward to it. That's our 5:30 kickoff here on Talksport 2. Ipswich Town against Sunderland. Here in South Wales, it's Cardiff 0, Leeds 2 at half-time. Up next, we'll bring you a half-time classified check, and look at a half-time classified check.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League. EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Fancy a Big Mac for the big match? Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
Ah, pockets. Amazing, aren't they? I wonder what's in your pocket right now. Old bit of tissue? If. Picture of the family? Ah. How about a lottery ticket with 6 magic numbers? No? Don't worry, there's still time. This Saturday, it could be you. Lotto from the National Lottery. Play now. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Aldi, not once, not twice, but 3 times the cheapest. Yes, Aldi is which cheapest supermarket for the 3rd time in a row. That's another year of great prices for you in the bag. Everyone's a winner when they shop at Aldi. Officially Britain's cheapest supermarket 3 years running.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £100 off per couple. So escape to sunny favourites like Greece, Portugal and Italy. And spread the cost with flexible monthly payments. Book now with just a £60 deposit per person. Jet2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. Abtra Natural Protected. Subject to availability and conditions.
The McDonald's Saver Meal Deals have it all, like the classic cheeseburger Saver Meal Deal, including medium fries and a drink for just $3.99, or the delicious double cheeseburger meal deal, which is twice as nice for just $4.79. But there's more. For $3.99, you can get the mouth-watering mayo chicken meal deal, all in a delicious bun. Phew, I'm talking so fast because we all like getting our money's worth, and that's why I've only got 20 seconds to tell you about the McDonald's Saver Meal Deals. From 11 a.m, not available on delivery.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talksport. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
I'm hot under the collar with this.
Concrete sports talk.
Edge that one in stone.
Rapid setting opinion.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh, no. Come on.
Big names, all bagged up.
David Moyes.
John Hart's and Ian Rush.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Delivered weekday mornings from 10 on Talksport by Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
This is Game Day.
Half-time classifieds.
You're listening to Talksport 2. I'm Adrian Clark here at the Cardiff City Stadium, where it's currently Cardiff 0, Leeds 2 at the break. What's gone on elsewhere? Let's get your half-time classified score, shall we? Starting with
Premier League.
It finished earlier at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Fulham 0.
Sky Bet Championship.
Also in the early kick-off, it finished Coventry City 3, Leicester City 1. Elsewhere, these are half-times. Birmingham 1, Swansea 1, Cardiff 0, Leeds 2, Huddersfield 1, Plymouth 1, Preston North End 0, Bristol City 0, Rotherham 0, Stoke City 1, Southampton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, West Bromwich Albion 3, Blackburn Rovers 0, and Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Sky Bet League 1.
Barnsley 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Blackpool 1, Exeter City 0, Bolton 0, Cheltenham 0, Carlisle 0, Oxford 1, Charlton 0, Peterborough United 1, Northampton 1, Wigan Athletic 0, Portsmouth 0, Leyton Orient 3, Reading 0, Port Vale 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Stevenage 0, Wycombe 1, Lincoln 0, and it's goalless. Cambridge 0, Fleetwood Town 0.
Sky Bet League 2.
Accrington Stanley 0, Gillingham 0, Colchester 0, Bradford City 1, Crawley 0, Salford 0, Crewe 1, Swindon 1, Doncaster 0, Newport County 0, Forest Green Rovers 0, Harrogate 0, Grimsby Town 2, Notts County 2, Morecambe 0, Mansfield 0, Stockport 1, Walsall 1, Sutton 1, Barrow 1, Tranmere 1, Milton Keynes Dons 1, and Wrexham 0, AFC Wimbledon 0. Well, lots of draws there across League 2. It's certainly not level pegging here in South Wales. A dominant first half performance from high-flying Leeds United has put them in the ascendancy, and we're about to find out, Perry and Nigel, how Errol Bullitt responds to this, because that was a dismal first half performance, wasn't it?
Very much so. And we just had Psycho Killer by Talking Heads playing there at half-time. That's what Cardiff could do with you. Just getting out there and make sure that they're more aggressive, they're more competitive, that they go and close down, that they get in the Leeds United players' faces, because it hasn't happened. It just didn't happen in the first half at all. And if you're Leeds United players, you've actually enjoyed, you shouldn't be enjoying coming to the Cardiff City Stadium, Clarkie, and enjoying that first half. They've actually enjoyed, they've been allowed to express themselves.
Yeah, we were talking ahead of kick-off today, weren't we, Nigel, about the potential atmosphere, about this great rivalry. A lot of it was kick-started in 2002, FA Cup tie here, and notorious game.
Across the road, yeah.
That's got its own Wikipedia page. You know, it's a serious game when that happens. It was ferocious, it was intimidating on that occasion. Here it's just been a damp squib, hasn't it?
It has, and I think that Errol Bullitt will be bitterly disappointed that a team which has not been performing well at home has come out in a match against a big team in the Championship, an opportunity to really make a statement and pull off a statement victory against a Leeds side. Let's be honest, that's been poor away from home recently, and they've just come out and barely laid a glove on them. And I think that will be the big disappointment for them, because, OK, there's no doubt that Leeds may have better players, and I think they have, but in the Championship, how many teams do we see overcome that with a bit of desire? I mean, earlier today on Talksport 2, Coventry are a good side, but clearly they're not as good as Leicester so far this season, but they overcame that today to win by 3-1, and we've seen nothing of that from Cardiff.
What is the championship known for, Clarkie? What is the championship known for around the world?
Yeah, unpredictability,
physicality.
Yeah, physicality,
isn't it? Yeah.
Competitiveness.
Exactly, that's what it's known for, that if you don't win your battles, you don't fight, and you don't impose yourself, then you're going to get steamrolled. That's exactly what happened. I can't believe as well that Leeds United were the first team out in the second half. I'd have thought, we said about the double furnace, I thought Cardiff would have been the first team out.
Yeah, let's see what Cardiff City are made of. Can Leeds United hang on and maybe build on this and really start to put the pressure on Ipswich and Southampton? Let's get live second half commentary from the Cardiff City Stadium with your commentary team of Perry Groves and Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Adrian. Double change from Cardiff at half-time, which is maybe not too much of a surprise. Keon Atete has been replaced by Yaku Mete. Of course, Ruben Colwill came on for the injured Joe Rawls during the first half. And there's also a change in midfield as well. Manolis Siopis has been replaced by the Leeds-born Andy Rinomhota, the former Reading player. So the Cardiff team now has 3 changes from the start of the game. It's Addick in goal and G. McGuinness, Gutas and Collins in midfield. It's now Rinomhota, Colwill and Wintle in midfield, with Bowler and Grant either side of Mete in attack. The Leeds team, Meslier in goal, Gray, Ampadu, Roden and Firpo, Kamara and Gruev in midfield, James, Rutter and Somerville behind Bamford. And now James coming forward now for Leeds, right at the start of the second half. Whips in the cross towards the near post, cleared away by McGuinness, headed back into the area by Gruev. Rutter has to be offside and the flag does go up, and it's a free kick to Cardiff City. Leeds wearing all white, playing towards their own supporters. Away to our right, Cardiff City in all blue, and they'll be looking for something in the second half, the home supporters. Even if they lose this game, they would like some sort of response after what was a dreadful first half.
Yeah, they just want to see a little bit of fight, and again, there's a patch of play that epitomised it. It was a long raking ball from left to right from Leeds switching play. Come over to Dan James on this right-hand side. Now, Jamalu Collins, who's the left-back, he just backed off into his own 18-yard box. Didn't go and put Dan James under any pressure.
Now it's won back by Rinomhota, who is the sort of player who can scrap in midfield and make a difference for them, but a ball is played into the penalty area, but Ampadu is there just to hammer the ball downfield as Blackpool go 2 goals up on Exeter at Bloomfield Road in League One. Albie Morgan in the early stages of the second half there. Here, Leeds United are 2 goals up at Cardiff City after a first half in which they could have scored 5 or 6 goals very easily. And they're coming forward again now with Somerville. Back to Kamara. Accrington 1, Gillingham 0. Alex Henderson in League 2. And once again, it's a spell in the game where Leeds are dominating possession and Cardiff City are barely getting close to them. They're not getting close to them.
No, they're not getting. Every time a Leeds player receives a pass, he's probably got yard and a half of space, and that is in Cardiff City's half. I'm just looking at Jorginho Rutter as well, who's playing in that 10 position. He's just drifting round like he's playing in a testimonial game. He's just coming off of the 2 centre halves. Then when he comes in, I think Rinomhota has been the one who's designated to go and, be 1v1 with him. But he didn't get anywhere near him in just that little instance there. So he's just playing in and around the centre circle when Leeds are in their own half.
Well, he's a big guy. He's wearing all white. He's not difficult to spot, but they've lost him time and time again.
Yep, his movement's very good, to be fair. You get these players, again, just receiving it in the pocket there. His technique is very, very good. He just hold players off. At least there, Rinomhota has tried to get tight to him. So as he's tried to spin, then Rinomhota's make sure he hasn't got away from him and he's committed a foul. At least that breaks the play up. But that hasn't happened enough from Cardiff's point of view. So Leeds just get themselves into a nice little rhythm. Again, it's Gruev and Kamara who are dominating possession.
4 minutes into the second half here on Talksport 2. Leeds 2 goals up and in control of this game. And at the moment, it is difficult to make a case for Cardiff City coming back into it. But it's the Championship, so you never know. But Leeds coming forward again now with a low ball into the penalty area for Bamford. Back to goal, lays it back for Somerville. And the right-footed shot is just wide, and this time Anik was nowhere.
Again, the build-up play from Leeds is absolutely fantastic. Just moving it from right to left, in the end coming into Crescencio Somerville, he rolls it into Patrick Bamford round about the penalty spot. There's 3 Cardiff players around him. Not one of them tries to put him under pressure. And it comes back out to Somerville, and he just tries to bend it with his right foot and bends it past the post.
And the Leeds fans in great voice behind that goal. And they've had a very good away day so far. And of course, Leeds fans come from all points of the compass to watch their team in the Championship or the Premier League or anywhere, basically. And I saw a minibus of Leeds supporters who made the journey up from the southwest earlier on today on the way in. And you can guarantee when Leeds are playing away from home, service stations all over the country have got somebody in a white shirt wandering in at some stage.
Yeah, just a massive club, haven't they, with a big tradition. Always take a huge following. They always take their allocation of away tickets. And they've contributed. They're the only fans who've actually made a noise here at the Cardiff City Stadium, because they're the only fans that have had something to actually shout about.
Harry Buterman has scored another goal for Sutton right at the bottom of the Football League, and they now lead Barrow by 2-1. And Alfie May, of course, has equalised for Charlton at home to Peterborough in League One. I'm surprised somebody higher up hasn't made a bid for Alfie May in January. Maybe that will happen.
Yep, obviously good goal-scoring form. Again, he's a player that's probably too good for League One. Just looking at Peterborough, unbeaten last 9 in League One, won 6, drawn 3. And there's a player I watched last week, Harrison Burrows, left back for Peterborough United. I think he'll go on to bigger and better things if they don't get promotion this season.
They've got some very good young players coming through the academy there. They've always tried to develop their own, and they've got some real talents. Forest Green 0, Harrogate 1, Jack Muldoon. And Forest Green, of course, Troy Deeney is now the manager. Another team in real trouble at the bottom of League Two. Somerville now leads it off to Rutter. Down the centre, looking for James, but McGuinness will step in, but he hangs his head as he stabs the ball away, but stabs it high and wide on the far side and out of play for a throw-in.
Well, they do very well, Leeds United, when they're in possession. Said about Rutter coming in, playing in that hole in the 10 position. But when he does that, then from left-hand side, Somerville just pops in and comes in the inside left position. And on the right-hand side, Dan James goes in inside right position, and that enables the 2 fullbacks to get high and wide. So in those central areas which Cardiff haven't managed to combat at this moment in time, they're just completely overloading.
And now it's played wide to this near side for Cardiff and Carlin Grant. Grant's got the opportunity to try and break into the penalty area, but in the end he's just held up and he runs out of room and he's crowded out, and the ball will be cleared downfield for Leeds again. And players like Carlin Grant, who are undoubtedly talented players in the Championship, but they've got to have some sort of service.
Well, just there, Carlin Grant has marauded down Cardiff's left-hand touchline. He's got the wrong side of Archie Gray. Archie Gray's managed to get goal side of him, and Archie Gray is obviously a young player, isn't he, making his way in the game. He's actually bullied Carlin Grant and actually shouldered him off the ball, got in front of him, toe poked it away. Leeds end up regaining possession. So there, Carlin Grant's got to be bodily a lot stronger to stop Archie Gray coming nick the ball off him.
In League One, the match between Bolton and Cheltenham has been postponed in the early stages of the second half due to a medical emergency in the crowd. So our sympathies go out to the people involved there. And also Reading against Port Vale, another match which has been delayed due to pitch invasions in Berkshire. Of course, the Reading supporters very unhappy with what is going on at the moment, and Reading have just said they appreciate the supporters' frustrations, but if they can't get the match underway now, once again, the game will not be restarted and the pitch must be cleared. So a serious situation developing there as well. No goals in that match between Reading and Port Vale. Grimsby now lead Notts County 3-2 in what's been a topsy-turvy game in League Two. Grimsby 2 up, Notts County coming back to equalise, but Harry Clifton has given the Mariners the lead once again in that game. 2-0 to Leeds United here in South Wales. 54 minutes played as Bamford looks to fasten on to another long ball forward. It's cleared away by Gutas, but it will come straight back, and the ball retention from Cardiff has been absolutely shocking. Now James, onside, down the right-hand side, hooks a high ball to the far post, and G does well to get there before Somerville and almost knees the ball out of play in mid-air, and it will be a throw-in on the far side.
He did really well there, Dan James, because when Archie had the ball, he just came short as if he wanted to feet, and then he spun in behind Jamalu Collins, just trying to hook the ball on the volley to the far post. You said there at the far post it was Perry and G, just making sure he cleared the danger. But it just seems like every time Leeds are in possession, they get into Cardiff's half, that they're going to score. And that's the belief that they have, you know, because they know that Cardiff is so passive. They're allowing him to play. And if you're obviously Patrick Bamford, who's got his goal already, you'll be just, what he is, he's just drifting around, trying to make runs in behind, thinking, I could get myself a hat-trick here today.
Billy Cargill with the opening goal for Mansfield at Morecambe in League Two. And I was talking to a member of the Leeds staff downstairs at half-time, and they made the point, and it's right. Once Bamford gets confidence and gets starting, he can score loads of goals. As Somerville now almost works the opening with Rutter inside the penalty area, tried an audacious volley from wide on the left-hand side, but it's over the top.
Well, they'll be asking, tell me why Crescencio Somerville there, because it's a great little give and go again with Rutter. Rutter just again under no pressure whatsoever. The ball sits up and just on the volley, he just plays it back into Crescencio Somerville, which is falling away with his right foot. The volley ends up smashing it over Jack Anwick's crossbar. Again, Nige, all too easy, just far too easy.
Absolutely. 10 minutes played in the second half here on Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. Cardiff 0, Leeds 2 on the day of a massive triple header from the Championship on Talksport 2. Coventry 3, Leicester 1 earlier, Ipswich, Sunderland to come as Jamalu Collins with a mazy dribble forward on this near side. He claims he was taken down. He stayed down on the edge of the penalty area, but Oliver Langford, the referee, is given nothing. And now, as a result, Collins is out of position, and Gray can come forward now for Leeds down the right-hand side. Grant's come back to make the challenge. The cross-in flicks off the head of McGuinness, but Gutas behind him will stoop to head the ball away. Now Gruev, and it's wide towards Gray.
That's embarrassing from Jamalu Collins. Unless the mole's popped up, he's actually just thrown himself to the floor. Dan James obviously is tracking back. He's nowhere near him, and he's tried to buy the free kick. To be fair to Oliver Langford, the referee, I thought he's refereed this game really well, though there's not been a lot of robust challenges now, to be Thursday for the Championship game. He just looked at him and laughed and said, get up. Now, I think you should book him.
Well, Collins now will try and take a throw in.
He's okay. He's all right.
Yeah.
Just a bit worried about his welfare there.
Of course, one-time Nigerian international, but not involved in the African Cup of Nations this time. Of course, he's not long back from a very serious ACL injury which wrecked his season last time out. And Cardiff are without a couple of players due to the African Cup of Nations. Ebu Adams is part of the squad involved with the Gambia at the African Cup of Nations. They had a harrowing journey on their initial flight to the Ivory Coast, which had to be halted and sent back due to a lack of oxygen on the plane. As Gray comes forward now on this near side for Leeds. Tom Hopper with an equaliser for Colchester at home to Bradford. Perry will be happy about that. The Cowleys looking to work their magic there. But now James into the penalty area, lofts it high over the goalkeeper off the top of the crossbar. And it's almost a second for James and a third for Leeds.
Yeah, Dan James, he should be scoring. Getting in, it's really good link-up play on the right-hand side. Archie Gray just lifting the ball over the top of Collins. Collins just losing the run of Dan James. Anwick comes out. He's caught in no man's land. So it should be more of a little 7-iron from Dan James. He's actually put a 9-iron in. Too much loft on the ball. Ends up bouncing on the top of the crossbar and goes out for a goal kick.
More goals going in. Birmingham 1, Swansea 2. Jamal Lowe for the Swans, and Stephen Fletcher has given Wrexham the lead at home to AFC Wimbledon in League 2. 59 minutes played here on Talksport 2. The skies have cleared overhead, but it's still bitterly cold. More and more patches of blue sky, which means it's going to be absolutely freezing tonight if it's as cold as this now.
Double thermals, Nige.
Yeah,
bit of experience.
Triple socks, I think, tomorrow.
Double thermals. You're not a heated gilet man, Nige, no?
No. I call them body warmers. No.
I sound a bit middle class there, didn't I? And trust me.
Well, there were body warmers when we were kids.
I thought they just called
I have to say, one of our number, mentioning no names, Matt Holland, was wearing a heated gilet last week at Tottenham.
No, that's when you know the game's gone. Tough tackling midfield player like Matt Holland.
Tough tackling.
Matt could put himself about.
He did actually, yeah. We had this conversation last week in the press room at Tottenham as Mayte tries to fasten onto a ball forward on this near side from Grant, but it's overhit and it's straight out of play. An hour played. Cardiff 0, Leeds 2.
From Leeds United's point of view, and obviously Daniel Farke, Leeds man, this is just about managing the game.
Yes.
This is about saying to your two centre-halves, Rodon and Ampadu, who've been under no pressure whatsoever, don't take any liberties, don't take any chances, make sure your concentration levels are very high. I know that Archie Graham, Firpo, the two fullbacks for Leeds, like to push on, but even if I was Daniel Farke, I'd be saying, like, one of you can go, but the other one's got to just cover round. We don't need to force anything.
And you're listening to Cardiff against Leeds in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. And don't forget, Talksport Breakfast back 6 a.m. on Monday. Looking back at all of the weekend's action with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. And starting tomorrow on Virgin Radio, comedian Tom Allen will be live at 12:30 following Graham Norton. And the Talksport app is your one-stop shop for all your stations, so you can happily swipe between them to suit your requirements. Download it from your favourite app store now. Grimsby 3, Notts County 3 in League 2. Adam Nemain with the latest equaliser for Notts County. Connor Masterson with an equaliser for Gillingham. 1-1 at home to Accrington Stanley. And Stockport lead Walsall by 2-1. Also in League 2, Isaac Alafe scoring at Edgeley Park. Cardiff 0, Leeds 2, the scoreline here at the Cardiff City Stadium. All of the noise, all of the animation coming from the Leeds United supporters away on the far side. But for the home fans, this has been a pretty grim watch. And they go to Plymouth next in the Championship. And of course, Plymouth are a team who don't win away from home, but are pretty good at home park. And Leeds United have two big home games coming up next. They're against Preston and Norwich, as Firpo does well to Rob Mayte on the far side. The Leeds left, but Firpo then runs it out of play, and Cardiff have a throw-in. And the home supporters try and raise the volume because it's something to try and fasten on to.
Exactly, Nigel. They've been feeding on scraps, the Cardiff City fans, and all Mayte did there was he just ran the channel. He made sure he got in the channel, he chased the lost cause. In the end, it was Ethan Ampadu came out, he just showed barging off the ball, got possession, and got his team a throw-in down in the left-back position of Leeds United.
Now Colwell tries a shot from the edge of the penalty area, and it snakes through the box and goes wide. Colwell has gone down on the edge of the box, may have been caught there in the act of shooting. Preston 1, Bristol City 0 in the Championship. Will Keane with the opening goal at Deepdale. Jake Garrett has pulled a goal back for Blackburn, 3-1 down at West Brom. Abu Isa, Grimsby 4, Notts County 3, that's game of the day at Blundell Park. And Adam Armstrong has put Southampton 2 goals up against Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. So the two sides outside the top two, Southampton and Leeds, are both winning today. Ipswich against Sunderland coming up on Talksport 2 at 5:30 with Joe Shannon and Scott Minto. Don't forget, coming up, FA Cup replay action from the third round this week. Talksport 2, 7:30 on Tuesday. Wolves against Brentford. Bristol City against West Ham will be on Talksport. Then on Wednesday, on Talksport, Everton against Crystal Palace. Here on 2, it is Blackpool against Nottingham Forest. 63 minutes played here, and Colwell is still receiving some treatment. Cardiff have already made 3 changes here, and he's gradually pulled back to his feet, and he gets a word of consolation from his Welsh international teammate Ethan Ampadu, and then hobbles away on the far side. He's a popular figure here, Ruben Colwell, although he doesn't really play enough football.
Yeah, I think what happened when he got his shot away with his left foot from the edge of the 18-yard box, it was his standing foot where he just lost his balance. He probably just hyperextended his ankle joint, so he's just doing a few little diagonal runs, little doggies, just to make sure that obviously he can carry his weight on that right foot. So just waiting for Oliver Langford, the referee, to give him the signal that he can come back on the pitch.
Well, the home form was a real problem for Cardiff last season. Only 6 home wins. They survived basically because Reading had their points deducted. Had they not, Cardiff would have gone. 3 managers, only 41 goals scored, but there's no doubt Errol Bullett has improved things, even though he's out of contract at the end of the season. But if he's looking at what's happening here, he might think there's not too much to build on.
Well, he was talking, I like reading the manager's notes in the programme, he was talking about momentum for the second half of the season, and this is where it should be starting today. Obviously, the last game in Championship, they won 2-1 away at QPR. So I think, right, the Sheffield Wednesday FA Cup result was a bit of a freak, Nigel, wasn't it? Because they missed 2 penalties in the first sort of 10 minutes. They could have gone 2-1 up. But here, this is where you want to build that momentum and get yourself on the roll. And it's been like a damp script, basically, so he'll be really, really disappointed.
Now Bamford turning just inside the Cardiff half, plays it back to Kamara. A ball around the corner for Junior Firpo down the left. Northampton 1, Wigan 1. Josh McGuinness with the equaliser for Wigan in League One. As Somerville gathers in a central area. Short sleeves and gloves for Leeds, threads it forward, but it's cleared away by Rinomota. But here is Gray for Leeds again. 25 minutes to play. Gray looking to break beyond the challenge of Grant, low into the near post. Bamford was arriving, but so too was McGuinness, and it will be cleared away, and Leeds have a throw-in.
Very, very impressive, Archie Gray. Also, he's playing at right back
17.
Today. He can play obviously in midfield. He looks very, very composed. You can tell his bloodline, obviously, from his uncles and his dad as well. You can tell he's balanced. You can tell he's got football in his veins, because he's sort of predominantly left-footed, but he's very good with his right foot as well. He tries to go on the outside there of Collins, gets his cross in, but it's cleared at the near post.
Now Kamara brings the ball down on his chest, wide towards Rutter. On this near side, the cross in is deflected. It's headed up in the air by Wintle. Somerville tries to lay it back, but in the end, he's given the ball away. Here is Bowler for Cardiff on the counter-attack. Colwill now, 25 yards out, hits it right-footed. It's way, way over the top.
It was good play from Josh Bowler over on the right-hand side. Just rolled it inside to Ruben Colwill, and then Josh Bowler went on the overlap, and Ruben Colwill's actually just picked the option, because from 25 yards, he's tried to smash it past Ilian Melia in the Leeds United goal, and he's again needs to chalk his boot, because he's just sliced it completely. And the thing that's quite strange with that is, on the outside, Josh Bowler's made a brilliant run, and he actually clapped the fact that Ruben Colwill got his shot off, where I would be actually screaming at him, say, you've got to be rolling me in, I'm 1v1.
More goals going in elsewhere. Chris Martin with an equaliser for Bristol Rovers at Barnsley in League One. Paul Mullen with the second for Wrexham, 2 up against AFC Wimbledon in League Two. Here, Leeds United are 2 goals up, and they are absolutely coasting in this game. Rutter now with a brilliant ball, looped wide to the far side, and Firpo though is offside, and it will be a free kick.
That is the cardinal sin. If you're in the widest position, you're looking right across the pitch, Junior Firpo, you should not be getting caught offside, because again it was Rutter who comes in that little 10 position. As the ball's rolled into him from Glenn Kamara, he said played a no-look, very Odegaard-like, wasn't it? No-look pass with his left foot, just sweeping it out to the left-hand side. And Firpo, if that was George Graham, you'd get the hook. If he was the wide man and you got caught offside looking across the line, that'd be you done and dusted.
Are you talking from experience there?
Yeah. I did it once, and that was enough.
Brandon Thomas-Asante with a 4th for West Brom, 4-1 up against Blackburn in the Championship. And Blackburn are heading towards the relegation zone. Of course, a team who have Sammy Smodics with 19 goals, but if he doesn't score, no one else does.
Ex-Colts United.
Yep.
That's where he started his career.
Are you more confident now the Cowleys are there?
Yeah, I thought it's a sign of intent, to be fair. That's the best manager Colts United have had in probably since John McGreal, when he got them into the playoff positions.
Yeah.
And you know for well, with the Cowley brothers going there, that it's not going to be a cheap appointment, number one, for that level, and number two, that the owner, Robbie Cowlin, would have guaranteed Dan Cowley that there'll be funds to spend, obviously, for players to get himself out of trouble at the moment, sitting third bottom.
But one of the teams below them, Forest Green, have just gone 2 down at home to Harrogate. Abraham Odo with the second, although Sutton are winning today, 2-1 at home against Carlisle, as Oxford go 3 goals up at Carlisle. Tyler Goodrum, Mark Harris scored the second, 2 goals for him. As Ampadu brings it forward now for Leeds. Rutter goes down, both he and McGuinness tumble, and the referee chooses to give nothing in the end, with 20 minutes to play here, as Carlin Grant on the halfway line goes all the way back towards Alnwick, and you can hear the discontent from the home supporters. But in fairness to Grant, there was nothing on.
They had no options whatsoever, so Carlin Grant probably thought, I'd just make sure he keeps possession. But when it came into Rutter that time, Mark McGuinness, that was the first time one of the Cardiff centre-halves has actually released himself and gone and put Rutter under pressure, and in the end it was a coming together. Rutter then actually gives possession away, so at least it's stemmed the flow of the Leeds United attack. But again, Cardiff lacking confidence when in possession themselves, just give the ball away completely, and Leeds are back in possession again.
Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 2. Isaiah Jones in the Championship. Barrow with an equaliser at Sutton. Niall Canavan, it's 2-2 there. Alfie McCalmont with a goal back for Carlisle. 3-1 down at home to Oxford. Courtney Baker-Richardson has given Crewe the lead at home to Swindon in League 2 by 2-1. Here in the Championship, on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2, Blackburn 4-1 down at West Brom still, but Cardiff here are 2 goals down at home to Leeds United with 19 minutes to play, as Leeds come forward again now. The white shirt sweeping forward. Bamford now, midway inside the Cardiff half, goes back towards Kamara and wide towards Gray. Leeds have barely got out of third gear in the second half. It's been that easy for them. Kamara now plays the 1-2 with Rutter on the edge of the penalty area, wide towards Somerville. He can break into the box down the left, cuts in field again. Back to Rutter with the left foot shot, got right underneath it, over the top. But they're almost walking the ball in.
Yeah, it's just like a practice game. It's as if Cardiff City have been told that they can't. It's like reserves played against the first team, where you can't go and kick the first team. Just playing the ball about at will, and then Rutter there would be really disappointed, because when he gets the ball back from Crescencio, Somerville was cutting from that left-hand side. He rolls it, inviting for him in the D. She's hit it first time, and a player of Rutter's quality, he should be hitting the target, and he smashed it high, wide and handsome.
And we've just got a statement from the EFL. The game in League One between Reading and Port Vale has been abandoned, and the EFL have said, following an on-pitch protest at Reading against Port Vale, today's game has been abandoned. Every effort was made to restart the game, but it became increasingly obvious this would not be possible. We will now discuss the implications of this afternoon's events with the clubs involved. So 2 games have failed to finish in League One today. That game at Reading and the match between Bolton and Cheltenham, which was postponed following a medical emergency in the crowd. And we offer our good wishes and sympathies to those involved there. As Leeds have a throw-in on the far side, it's now Accrington 1, Gillingham 2. Macaulay Bonne for Gillingham in League 2.
Another ex-Colchester United player.
Absolutely. Charlie Brown with an equaliser for Morecambe at home to Mansfield. 1-1 there, as Bamford almost finds himself in space inside the box, but it's hacked away by Jamalu Collins. Corey O'Keefe has put Barnsley 2-1 up against Bristol Rovers, as Rinomhota charging forward now for Cardiff. Gruev catches him midway inside the Leeds half, and a free kick's been given and Gruev has been booked.
Actually, to be fair, I think Gruev has been booked, and he's taken one for the team there, because I think it was Glenn Kamara, when Rinomhota actually got away initially. He's trying to pull him back. Then Rinomhota is a good run through the middle of the pitch from Rinomhota, and then Gruev's actually tackled him from behind. To be fair to Oliver Langford, the referee, quite rightly gets the yellow card out. It's just quite refreshing. I know that I'm a dinosaur, but with no VAR, that the game flows a lot better now, doesn't it? The referee looks like he's enjoying himself. Doesn't look like he's under as much pressure to make decisions.
Ollie Tanner coming on for Cardiff to replace Josh Bowler. Tanner, 21 years of age, signed from Bromley, and his one goal this season was a notable one. It came live on Talksport 2 in the South Wales derby here against Swansea.
Yeah, just like for like there. To be fair, if I was Josh Bowler, I'd be really disappointed, because I think he was one of the outfield players of Cardiff City who could come out of this game with a little bit of credit.
From that free kick, it's high into the penalty area and eventually hacked away by Joe Rodon, and it will be a throw into Cardiff on the far side. Of course, a goal back, and it's a very different game.
Yep, the tempo of the game changes completely. There's more jeopardy. There's no jeopardy in this game at all. It looks like if you'd have said to the Cardiff City players, oh, by the way, this will end up 2-0, should we go off now? They'd say, OK. Because I know, obviously, they're drawing the second half 0-0. But I think it's more because Leeds have actually gone down a couple of gears.
Now a high ball into the penalty area, looking for Yaku Meite, but rising to nod the ball away was Joe Rodon. Ryan Fraser with a third for Southampton against Sheffield Wednesday, 3-0 at St Mary's. And coming up at 5:30 here on Talksport 2, we have Ipswich against Sunderland, another big game from the EFL Championship. Let's get team news and say good afternoon to Joe Shannon.
Good afternoon, Nigel. 7 changes for Ipswich from the FA Cup win at Wimbledon, including a return for Hladky in goal, Davis back from injury, and a debut for Lewis Travis. For Sunderland, 1 alteration from the 3-0 defeat to Newcastle. Barr replaces Rusyn in attack.
Thank you, Joe. Commentary from Joe and Scott Minto at 5:30. Now a low ball into the penalty area on the far side from Tanner, cleared away as far as Colwill. His cross in is nodded up in the air by Rodon. A second header away from James, and Cardiff will win the ball back, and you can hear the home crowd encouraged by a bit of urgency. Now Colwill down the right-hand side. Excellent ball to find Rinomhota, but the shot lacked power at the crucial moment, and it's a bobbler through towards Meslier.
A really good play from Ruben Colwill, just picking the ball up in the inside right position. He said there, Rinomhota just releasing himself from the centre midfield position, making that diagonal run into the 18-yard box. And what happened, Nigel, is because he panicked so much, he actually swung himself off balance. What he's got to do is just compose himself a little bit better, make sure he gets his standing foot beside the ball, then he can sweep it across Ilyan Meslier and the Leeds United goal. So he just knocked himself off balance, didn't get the right connection with the ball, just hit the top of the ball, just P-rolled through to Meslier.
But in the 77th minute, that may go down as the first shot on target. Now Rutter coming forward for Leeds. The shot, though, is tipped over the crossbar superbly by Anik. And there were 3 Leeds players there from that long ball forward. Absolutely clean through. Rutter took this shot early, and Anik with another fine save.
Yeah, play of Jorginho Rutter's quality. He should be scoring. Just a great little flick around the corner from Patrick Bamford. Just get a deflection off a Cardiff City player. Then Anwick just finds himself really in no man's land, and all Rutter's got to do is just lift it over the top of him. He should be scoring as the ball sits up. It's a really good save in the end from Anwick. Manages to palm it over the crossbar for a corner for Leeds over on their left-hand side.
Somerville will take it in front of all of those Leeds supporters. It's an in-swing, high to the far post. It was heading for Joe Rodon, but not in clear. And then Rutter goes down inside the penalty area. It's a penalty for Leeds. Rutter, the player who was caught, he's in some pain inside the box, but Leeds now have the opportunity to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, Oliver Langford, the referee, had absolutely no doubt given the penalty. Didn't even give himself time to think. No, he just punted straight at the penalty spot. Just a really late challenge on Jorginho Rutter as the ball drops out. Jack Anwick, the Cardiff City goalkeeper, is not very happy with the decision. As the corner comes in, the ball's headed away. Rutter just comes away, tries to get the ball, and it looks like it's Mark McGuinness who's just come in just a little bit late. It's gone down quite easy, to be fair, Jorginho Rutter, but Mark McGuinness doesn't need to make that challenge. No, it doesn't need to, because Rutter's just like facing away from the goal. It's a really clumsy challenge. Don't give the referee the decision to make. Oliver Langford, referee, pointed straight at the penalty spot.
Somerville will step up right-footed, and he's missed it. It came off the post, and Leeds spurn another chance to make it 3-0.
Must get out of jail free card for Cardiff City. You can see it's roused the crowd, because as Crescencio Somerville just ran up to take the penalty, he's had a little hesitation, waited for Anwick to dive and commit himself. To be fair to Anwick, he doesn't. Then means that Summerhill tries to just sweep the ball with his right foot down low to Anwick's right-hand side, comes crashing back off the post.
Now James is offside as he looks to scamper forward down the right, and it will be a free kick. Grimsby 4, Notts County 4. Aaron Nemain with his second for the Magpies at Blundell Park. Crucial goal for Salford City, who are hurtling down League 2. They lead at Crawley by a goal to nil. And Efren Mason-Clark with a second for Peterborough. They're 2-1 up at Charlton. Here it is still 2-0 to Leeds, as it was at half-time. And although Cardiff have marginally been better in the first half, it means they've been less awful.
Yeah, I think really it's just Leeds have just took their foot off the pedal, because first half they were full throttle. Second half, say they just eased off a bit, just gone down the gears, because they know that this game is won as long as they don't make any, rash mistakes. It should have been put on any reasonable doubt, obviously, with Summerhill missing the penalty. I actually think Jack Anwick in the Cardiff City goal did really well for the penalty, because they call it goalkeeper dependent now, didn't they, where the forward taking the penalty runs up, he looks at the goalkeeper, waiting for him to make a decision and commit himself to his right or to his left. And be fair to Jack Anwick, he didn't. He just stood. It was like a face-off, and that put the doubt in Crescencio Summerhill's mind. Then he actually, with his right foot, hit the post. And I actually think if it didn't hit the post, I think that Anwick would have saved it, because it was on the outside of the post.
Paddy Madden with a penalty for Stockport. 3-1 up against Walsall in League 2. And here it is still Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 2. And with Southampton heading towards a comfortable victory at home to Sheffield Wednesday, a win here for Leeds absolutely essential. Already today on Talksport 2, the leaders Leicester losing 3-1. A late flurry of goals from Coventry City. Leicester down to 10 men for the whole of the second half in that game. And at 5:30 we have Ipswich against Sunderland. 3 massive games today, only on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. And if you want the first opportunity to have your say on the weekend's action, then you can join Jamie O'Hara and Gabriel Bonlahor over on Talksport at 5:30. But Leeds here just looking to manage some time with 8.5 minutes to play. Shrewsbury 0, Stevenage 1. Jamie Reid yet again for Stevenage in League 1. And they're another team that just seemed to find a way, although of course they were embarrassed by Maidstone in the FA Cup last week, although Steve Evans now has the opportunity to concentrate on potentially back-to-back promotions. Excellent ball forward now from Gruev to find Gray for Leeds down the right. The cross into the penalty area, scrambled away by Gutas, but Leeds pick up the second ball. Here is James again, looking to nutmeg Collins. Collins seemed to body check him, or certainly stayed where he was. James is furious, but nothing given.
Yeah, to be fair to Collins, he did really well, just stood his ground.
Now Meite chasing at the other end, but Meslier outside his penalty area will hammer the ball to safety.
Yeah, good starting position from Ilian Meslier, just making sure he keeps his concentration levels high, because Meite's made a bit of a difference up front, to be fair, for Cardiff. At least he's tried that threat in behind, which he's tried to do just there. Earlier it was definitely not a foul by Collins on Dan James, because Collins just stood his ground. Dan James, as I said, tried to, well, he did nutmeg him, but it was no chance of getting the ball the other side. Oliver Langford, the referee, just waved play on.
At the top of League 1, by the way, it is still Portsmouth 0, Orient 3, as it was at half-time. Portsmouth are wobbling, aren't they?
Yeah, they only lost one game at home all season before today, and that was 4-0 against Blackpool, which people thought was a bit of a freak result, but they've had a couple of freak results now, obviously, with the O's beating them.
At what point do they stop being freak results?
When they lose 2 on the trot.
Well, they've had a poor run since Christmas, and of course they've got the ability to snap out of a blip, and every team in the EFL has at least one this season. And of course the games at Bolton and Reading have been abandoned for a variety of reasons. You can get more details on the Talksport website, talksport.com, as Leeds are preparing a change. And they've got so many options to bring on, and it's Sam Byram who will come on for Junior Firpo, so a straight swap at left back.
Yeah, as you said, yeah, just looking for fresh legs. Sam Byram will come on, just playing that left back position.
25,991 the crowd here today, some way short of the biggest of the season for the derby with Swansea, which was just over 28,500. But at the top of League One, Portsmouth, if it stays as it is, will be a point clear of Peterborough, who will have a game in hand. They'll be 2 points clear of Bolton, and they'll have 3 games in hand. And Derby, who of course play on Monday night, as there's a head injury on the far side, so play has been stopped here once again. I'm not sure who the player for Leeds who is down, but they'll require some treatment. I think it's Jorginho Rutter who went down, just clashing with Rinomhota.
Yeah, I think it was just a ball in the face. Rinomhota just closing down Jorginho Rutter, and as he's volleyed it, it's hitting straight in the side of the face. He's going to be okay. He's been very impressive actually, Jorginho Rutter. So he's always a threat, playing in just behind Patrick Bamford. He drops deep, that allowed Patrick Bamford obviously to go long and spin in behind. So Leeds have just looked very fluid, Nigel, haven't they, today? Very good in possession, although obviously they haven't had a lot of opposition to play against who've tried to stop them from playing. But there's good link-up play on the right-hand side with Archie Gray and Dan James. Left-hand side, I know Junior Firpo's just gone off, and Crescenzo Somerville. So you can tell that they work on their patterns of play in training. You know, like the 2 wide players come in inverted and the full-backs going on the outside of them.
Well, Cardiff fans all around us are heading for the exits here. 4 minutes to play, 2 goals down. Sekou Mara with a 4th for Southampton, 4 goals up at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Lyle Taylor with a debut goal for Cambridge at home to Fleetwood. That's a good signing, isn't it?
Yeah, very good signing. Proven obviously in the lower leagues. We'll give him a focal point up front. There's nothing better than being a focal point, obviously getting the goal on your debut.
Joel Peru will be coming on shortly, and there'll be another change as well. Jadon Anthony, who was on loan from Bournemouth, and of course Joel Peru, formerly of Swansea City, so he'll be the 3rd former Swansea player to come on.
He'll get a rousing reception from the Cardiff City fans. Actually, do you know what? I think like the Cardiff City fans
left.
Exactly, but they won't even be bothered to boo, will they? They'll just be like, it's just apathy.
This has not been a good day to be a Bluebird, as Colwill tries to come forward on the far side. No real support for him. Eventually it goes back to NG. Down the line for Colwill again. And now it's slipped in towards Carlin Grant on the edge of the penalty area. Right to the challenge of Roden. Wide towards NG. He comes in field. The shot is deflected. And it's behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, good link-up play from Cardiff City.
It was Tanner who got the shot in the end.
Exactly, on their right-hand side. Just Perry-Ng just cutting in, then coming into Tanner. Tanner getting ball out of his feet.
The corners worked short, but the crossing was scuffed, and it will be cleared away. High up to the halfway line, Dan James will chase. He's quick. 2 Cardiff players collide, and now Dan James is away for Leeds down the centre. Somerville is square of him. Somerville now inside the penalty area, brings the ball under control. Back to Bamford, he leaves it. Now Rutter, surely he must score. He does. Jorginho Rutter makes it 3-0. And that was a classic breakaway for Leeds. There are Cardiff City players strewn on the turf all over the field. 4 or 5 Leeds players could have scored that goal, and in the end Jorginho Rutter did, and their away day blip has come to an end in emphatic fashion inside a rapidly emptying Cardiff City Stadium. It is Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 3.
Nigel, it's just calamitous defending from Cardiff City. Dan James just chasing a hopeful ball, just coming through the middle. In the end, it's Collins, and looks like it was Ryan Wintle who's actually just smashed into each other. And then Dan James just breaks away. Ball comes out to Crescenzo Somerville. Dan James does really, really well, where he just gets his head up and he makes sure he can see Crescenzo Somerville on the left-hand side. Somerville gets onto his right foot, Anwick comes out, he puts it back to Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford just steps over the ball. And he said there, just comes out to Jorginho Rutter with his left foot, puts it onto his right foot, and just puts his laces through the ball, gives Anwick absolutely no chance whatsoever in the Cardiff City goal. And you have to say that 3-0 does Leeds United justice here at the Cardiff City Stadium, Nige, because that defending just sums up Cardiff City to a T today.
Keystone Cops.
They've been absolutely awful defensively, and Leeds there, to be fair, I think maybe Somerville should have got his shot off, and that was a bit of overplaying. Patrick Bamford, if you're a centre forward, you expect him to smash it into the back of the net. He had awareness just to let it go through his legs, and in the end it was Jorginho Rutter who smashed it past Anwick.
Well, there's a queue of Leeds players waiting to come on now. Peru, Anthony, Nonto and Shackleton will all be coming on. Carlan Grant is down receiving treatment for Cardiff. Bamford is the first player to make way for Leeds. So Peru will go up front. Vicencio Somerville is also coming off. Jadon Anthony will come on and play wide on the left-hand side, and there'll be a minimum of 4 more minutes here. Not that we need it really, because the game is done. Nonto and Shackleton are still awaiting the opportunity to come on, and Daniel Farker is very keen to make these changes here. But 3-0 to Leeds after 3 successive away defeats. And again, that goal really summed up the gulf in quality between these two sides here today.
Yeah, just no communication whatsoever. 2 Cardiff City players going for the same ball, and Dan James made the right decision, obviously just putting it across the 18-yard box to Vicencio Somerville on the left-hand side, then him cutting it back unselfishly, Patrick Bamford being unselfish and just letting the ball go through his legs, and Rutter smashing it past Anwick.
Now Rutter up towards the edge of the penalty area, and Peru first involvement. James with a high cross into the far post, looking for Anthony, headed away by Unji. He's got support from Byram. Byram now lays it back to Kamara. A late equaliser for Fleetwood. Promise Omachere. 1-1 away to Cambridge in League One. Grimsby 4, Notts County 5. David McGoldrick, they lead in that game for the first time right at the end. Now Anthony is just held up wide on the left-hand side for Leeds, but Cardiff have a free kick in the end for the challenge on Ruben Colwill. And Leeds are just staggering their changes now. And it's Kamara who will come on to replace, or be replaced by Shackleton, who's only played once since the end of September for Leeds United. And Dan James will also come off. And you're right, Perry, the home fans left in the stadium can't even be bothered to recognise the fact that Cardiff City players are being well beaten here by former Swansea City players.
They're probably thinking, well, as a group of players, you couldn't be bothered to put the effort in to stop Leeds United from from playing, so we can't be bothered to put the effort in to boo.
Right at the end, in League Two, it is Doncaster 0, Newport 1. Sebastian Palmer Holden in the 93rd minute for a team who are an outside bet for the playoffs, possibly. Big FA Cup replay coming up for them this week. Away to Eastleigh with a tie against Manchester United, the prize. And I would imagine of the 22,000 Cardiff fans inside this game at the start, there are about 5,000 still left inside the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them, because say if they'd have thought that their team would put in a shift and tried to get themselves back into the game, then they would have stayed and cheered them on. They've had nothing to cheer whatsoever. I can't remember Millier in the Leeds United goal having a save to make in anger.
Ollie Tanner is now down on the far side, and there was another Cardiff player who was also down, Ruben Colwill, inside the centre circle. But the manner in which 2 Cardiff players tried to converge on the ball, collided, and then allowed Dan James to sprint away and set up the third goal. Was almost comical because everybody in the stadium knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, but Dan James knew what was going to happen as well, because he was chasing a lost cause. The two Cardiff players, I think it was Collins and Gutas, were favourites to get the ball. They end up smashing into each other. And in the end, it was whether Dan James could make the right decision, which he did. Just rolling it across to Somerville, and Somerville just unselfishly putting it back to Bamford. He'd jumping over it, and then Rutter smashed it in the back of the net.
It's all over, and it's a big win for Leeds. 3-0 in the end. Cardiff's problems at home continue in the Championship, but after 3 successive defeats away from home, Leeds United have really bounced back to form, and how here. 3-0. Barely does their superiority justice. They could have scored 7 or 8 in this game, but in the end, they will settle for 3, and they remain in the pack, looking to hunt down the top 2. It is finished. Cardiff City 0, Leeds United 3.
One-way traffic here in South Wales this afternoon. Cardiff City comprehensively outplayed by Leeds United. So then, Perry, to sum up what we've just seen here this afternoon, were Leeds brilliant? Were Cardiff awful? Or was it both?
I think it was men against boys, to be honest. There was one team that was structured. There was one team that had desire, especially in the first half. There's one team that had intensity. There's one team that didn't. To be fair, in the second half, Cardiff improved probably 10%. It's only because Leeds dropped off. You know, I said they was in first gear in the first. They dropped back to probably like third or fourth gear. All over the pitch, Leeds United players won their individual battles. There were 2 passive Cardiff in the first half. The 2 midfield players, Leeds United, Gruev and Kamara, were dominating the game. Junior Rutter was playing in that sort of 10 position, was just drifting around, getting himself on the ball, wasn't put under any physical danger whatsoever. So that gives you confidence as well, because you know you can get yourself on the half turn and start linking the play. And Leeds United went in 2-0 up at half time. Without any exaggeration, it could have been 5. Because we mentioned about the one-on-ones that Patrick Bamford missed a 1v1 with Anwick and the Cardiff City goal. Somerville missed 2. In the end, then they got 2-0 up. It was Patrick Bamford put them 1-0 up from about, 2-3 yards, where he's on the floor. He gets a ricochet back off of Junior Firpo's knee. That's because Somerville gets into the box. No one goes with his run. And then in the 31st minute, again, good build-up play down the left-hand side. Kamara actually robs Siopis, the Cardiff City midfield player, who's just dallying on the ball. Kamara makes the right decision, rolls it to Somerville. Somerville thinks he's scored. He pushes it under Anwick in the Cardiff City goal, and Dan James comes in from the right-hand side and taps it home from 6 inches. And in the end, it's 2.5 time, but the game's done and dusted.
Yeah, and they missed a penalty in the second half, Leeds United. And if any one goal this season sums up a football match, it was the third, wasn't it? With absolute calamity from Cardiff City.
It was Keystone Cops. That's one for the teenagers. You can go back, look at your black and white films from the 1930s and 40s.
No idea, Perry.
Yeah, well, it was carnage, because it was just a hopeful ball coming out of the Leeds defence. Dan James was probably third favourite to get it. The 2 Cardiff City players just smashed into each other on the halfway line, and then it's whether Dan James can pick the right option, which he does. He gets his head up, squares it across the 18-yard box to Crescencio Somerville. You think you're going to shoot, but he just takes his time, rolls it back to Patrick Bamford. As a centre forward, I can't believe that Patrick Bamford is jumping over the ball, which he does. Comes back to Jorginho Rutter, and he smashed it past Anwick with his right foot for the third goal. Again, as you said, that summed up the whole game. Very impressive from Leeds United. It's absolute calamity from Cardiff City.
Yeah, based on what we've seen here today, Cardiff City got absolutely no chance of reaching the Championship playoffs. As for Leeds, just to wrap them, final thought, Perry, as for Leeds?
Well, we said,
based on what we've seen today, they look the real deal.
Absolutely. We said they got to improve their away form. Obviously, it's been very patchy at Ellen Road, unbeaten, winning 9 and drawing 4. If they can turn that and they can keep this consistency away, if you look at their squad as well, from the bench, Pirro comes on, Jay Nanty comes on, Then you've got Wilfred Gnonto, Shackleton. They've got strength in depth, especially in those forward areas. Patrick Bamford's got him, he's 3-3, looks in really good form. And you know you're in trouble from Cardiff City's point of view when Patrick Bamford is actually getting in behind you, using his pace, which he's not really known for. So there's all good signs for Leeds United. Their fluidity is very good. They've got good understanding in the wide areas. Somerville comes in the inside right from the left side, inside left position. Then James comes in inside right. Firpo goes on the outside. Archie Gray, I thought, was very, very impressive in the right back position, only 17 years of age. So it looks like Leeds might be coming into form at just the right time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Perry. Thank you,
Clarky.
Nigel. It's been an absolute pleasure to share the mics with you this afternoon.